Sin, under this pantheon of gods, shall not be defined by any particular act. Specific prohibitory acts are to be determined by each god's rules and judgment. In turn, no mortal can sin against a god they have not chosen, no matter their action. Should a mortal opt into a rule of law only to then break it, they shall be punished by, again, their deity's discretion. This is with a sole exception. Those who ask more of the gods than their mortal lives, who ask for power beyond the bounds of nature, and then transgress, shall be met with absolute and immediate damnation. For the Pantheon's authority must be carved into stone if it is to be woven into the fabric of heaven. This is a tale of sin. Not from the theological perspective, but from the lowly mortal's perspective, involving all the things that are left out of texts such as these. The injustices, the human consequence, the confusion of what constitutes sin and why. More than anything else, this is about the ripples that come from such an original, damaging act. This is the tale of murder under moonlight's shade. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the D&Dorks Murder Under Moonlight Shade. So, for you, it's ideally been like, let's say 1 to 2 weeks. For us, it's been 2 months.
Woo!
Coming at you from in the year February 2025. Everything's cool and normal. And we definitely remember everything that happened last time. But just in case we don't, which one of you wants to do the recap?
I'm doing
I'm
doing the recording. Thank you. There we go.
The recap. A very terrified silence from the crowd. What else were we gonna get? So, the baseline. We have 4 characters. They're in a mansion. It's a murder mystery where the bodies are kind of stacking up. We have the owner of the mansion, Victor Tem, who is dead. We have that fucking thumb.
Name.
Oh, yes.
2 months, same old D&Dorks.
We opened episode 2 with the thumb thing is because of my camera, because it's an iPhone and it's stupid. We began episode 2 in the aftermath of our second and third deaths. The explosion of Baron Redding, recent husband to our own Evelyn Hahn. Also, his cousin was in that explosion. He's not really important, but he was this poor schmuck that Chaplain Kaplinger stole his invitation to the party from, which cast both of them in a pretty suspicious light. That light was cast by Jason, our actor, detective, fraud guy, who
What a title.
will be fine. In a bit of clue searching, we had Dr. Turniphead and Catherine trying to scale the building, only to find that when they got about halfway up, the building started melting? It just looked like footholds started melting.
Oh, I forgot about
And a
that
sharp
part,
eye
actually.
from, I believe, Dr. Turniphead revealed an outline of a ghost-seeming figure manipulating the building in this way, causing them not to be able to scale. But Kaplinger's Kaplinger's owl, Lafayette, found that there were a bunch of tarps on windows. Seems like this place has a bunch of that covered up. I wonder why. No time to think about that, because Jason was found murdered in the weapons/coat check with "to scam is to sin" written in his blood. Bad news for the many, many scammers on our cast. Most of the party then found this rotating library, which was being commanded by a crank who actually turned out to be a ghost named Frank, who was discovered by the joint efforts of Kaplinger, Catherine, and Evie. He gave them some hints, one of which our players figured out because I'm a dumbass. More on that a little bit later. We learned a lot of mechanical things that we'll probably get into more as we're in the episode and as we need to review that. But there's a somewhat friendly worker ghost. Where this led them was to an underground passage that led Catherine into an armory featuring a bunch of weapons and bullets, and notably Baron Redding's dagger covered in presumably Jason's blood. Meanwhile, Evie and Kaplinger, alongside Eleanor, and in fact with Eleanor's help, seemingly, returned to the library and found an entrance to a new room holding a marriage altar and a very foreboding passage, which we will repeat later on as well. And as for the doctor, the poor doctor, who was on the bench for like 2 hours of the last episode, found a closet that Bartholomew seemingly disappeared into. It was empty. Then Bartholomew was behind him, then a portal opened under him, and he was in a study with a ghost named Lord Cedric Berister, who invited him for a cup of tea. That was our episode. Do we have any questions, thoughts, immediate words of encouragement?
One question.
I saw Nikhil first, then we'll go to Matt.
Thank you very much. My teacher likes me more, Matt. Where's my body, Matt? My big, strong...
Your homunculus is in the foyer with an illusion of your gnome form on its shoulders because you wanted to sneak off.
Right, that seems smart in the moment. Okay, cool.
It was very smart in the moment, but and if this is on me, my bad. The best of my recollection, you have not reunited with your homunculus as of now.
Right.
Matt.
Well, mine's more dumb now because I was just gonna make a joke and ask who's the murderer, and then Nikhil had to come in with a genuine clarification.
That is such a good question.
It is a good question, in fairness.
Speaking of questions and answers, dramatically, it would make the most sense to open with Nikhil and the ghost. But to be frank, I want to know where our other characters may immediately be going. Just check in with them really quick before we jump into that scene. To recap, Evie and Kaplinger have found this secluded room that is perpetually covered in rose petals and set up as a wedding altar. And in there, you found a passage that read thusly, that was on the altar. Each spouse in this union, with its greater bestowment, is equally accountable to their vows of divine love. Should this love be betrayed through willful death or decomplication, that's a capital D on decomplication, the union and bestowment shall be null and void, and the offending spouse shall be persecuted as a sinner of the highest degree.
Very ominous. I didn't remember any of that, but to be fair, my character's not in that scene.
I remember being in here. We have Eleanor with us, right?
I remember being in there, yeah.
Eleanor is with you, as is Amelie. That is her full name, right?
And you're asking where we're going, or are we playing out this scene from picking up here?
I think just checking the status of everybody before...
Checking the status, if you want to play out a scene or immediate reaction, that is certainly welcome. I want to take you guys' temperature.
Okay.
Basically.
I mean, what I'm about to do is basically just ask the current people that we're with, what their opinions of all this is, and see if they might know anything. I don't imagine they expected us to be here or to find this. And if I remember correctly, Eleanor was being real weird about trying to help us find some stairs.
Eleanor pulled out the book that got you to this room seemingly on instinct, which was interesting. And now that she's in here, she is just mesmerized by the setup.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna.
Wait,
Oh yeah.
sorry. Who's Eleanor again? Is that one of y'all's people?
Eleanor is an eccentric party guest who
Eleanor's
seems
eccentric.
to be hanging out around our main players.
Oh, is this
She's the one that
crab
borrowed
lady that
Kaplinger's.
borrows things?
Yeah.
The like hippie
Cool.
type
Yeah.
lady, kind of.
Yeah, you can cut that. I just really was like, which one is this person again?
Yes.
2 months.
2 months.
Or maybe I
Our
won't,
eccentric
whatever.
party guest with a propensity for just kind of stealing things and putting on characters. Weird lady.
So I think I'm gonna look directly at her and be like, "Hey, Eleanor, look at this poem here. Isn't this so romantic?" And show her the text.
Yeah, she takes a moment to read it. Just, oh. Commitment is so much more romantic when there are heavy stakes and extreme punishment. Oh, it's
I don't
lovely.
know that I agree with that. This is not the first time people have talked about punishing sinners in this house. What's that about? Do you know anything about that?
There's a lot of things. They say a lot of things. I wouldn't know anything about that in specific.
Oh, that's so fair. Yeah.
I mean, our society these days is just so punitive and Puritan, you know what I mean? It's not really a surprise. I mean, with all the religious iconography that's literally everywhere. But then it's like, all the religious iconography is also like damaged and scratched out. That's weird, right?
Yeah, a lot of moon symbols scratched out.
So much moon stuff.
Is there any moon stuff scratched out in here? Let's take a look. Is there any moon stuff? I need to take a look at that.
The most of the room is covered in like, you know, it's decorated for a wedding. There's white, there's wooden chairs, but the altar is a combination of moon imagery and slashes, damage. Specifically, anywhere there is a moon or an eye is slashed, damaged, somehow defaced.
All right. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
I just remembered that we had discovered something about that. Like we drew a symbol on a piece of paper, an eye on a piece of paper.
And we were able to
We
see
were like
ghosts
using
doing
that.
It's like a
And I
spirit
remember
revealing thing.
I like minor illusioned it on my forehead.
Yes, you
So
did.
that-
You made a little
so-
miner's helmet.
Yeah, so if I'm like looking at anything, that would let me know if that does anything. I also would like to just do a religion check in here
Mhm.
as the chaplain.
Sure. Give me a religion check.
Yeah, the cleric. I think I would do the same. See,
Go
I did
for
over
it.
many. Oh, we are both
I
two religious people in
will-
this room. Awkward.
I'll also roll for Amelia, just in case that
Thank you.
does anything.
I got a 14.
what's your religion?
So
I actually got an 11.
nice. The two of us rolling below 15.
The two
Amelia-
religious people know nothing about religion at all.
I know
Amelia
plenty
got
about my god. Got a 2? That checks out.
A 22.
Oh, 22.
Amelia's religion is +5, which is crazy.
That's right. She is the same as me because I'll explain why later.
Oh, it does actually. I
Yeah.
remembered the character gimmick, and yeah, that does make a lot of sense. So we've got an 11, a 14, and a 22. One thing you'll notice without any need to roll is that while the altar does not glow with any spiritual energy, the document does. Seemingly, this contract is binding in more than one sense. More than a legal sense, that is.
Fascinating. Okay.
Mhm. As for anything else you would be able to deduce here from the religion front, I mean, you can clearly see that this was a marriage certified under the authority of the goddess of the moon, obviously. And as such, it would follow that any magical effects that should or should not occur would be under the purview of that goddess. I think that's all I'll say for now. I'm gonna keep in the back of my mind that Amelia has that 22 because there may be things you can extrapolate per se, but we will see.
Um,
Mhm.
And then I feel like we probably did a perception check when we first got here last time, but I don't know if we did or not. Is it okay if I just do a base perception to investigate the room?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I'm rolling new dice. The dice that I was
Ooh.
using for the last D&Dorks thing, which was not the last time we did this. I rolled a 17 plus 3 is a dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, there's honestly not a ton to see in this room because frankly it is the setup of chairs, the altar, and then the rest of it is a void. In fact, really looking out now, there's not really a horizon. The room just kind of goes on forever in a pinkish white void. At least from where you're standing.
Wow.
You're like, and like the spatial reasoning of this room was already pretty dicey because you entered this through the corner of a library, and now it's like a romantically tinted hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
weird.
What a
Upon noticing
crazy
that-
thing to just drop.
Yeah.
Say that again, Mike.
The room beyond where you're immediately standing is sort of a rose tinted void
The
that
phrasing
may or
of
may not just go on.
romantically tinted hyperbolic time chamber fucking rules. Continue. I just had to highlight that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, upon noticing that, I think Evie would be like, "Hey, so we are in like a pocket dimension or something." And I don't know about you guys, but that makes me uncomfortable because there's a lot of open space and I don't know what's out there. And I think we should be not in here. Is our exit still behind me?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
I
not
am.
that fucking crazy.
And I'm walking towards that goddamn exit. Unless anybody would like to get married in here at this altar with that contract right there, just to see if that does anything.
Oh, it'd be nice, but I've only known all of you for I have no idea how long, but less than a day. And I'm devoted to marrying for love.
No, that's fair. Kaplinger, anyone in here catching your eye?
I assure you, I am flattered, but I am married to the church, as it were.
No, I understand. Amelia, do we just do it here for an experiment, or do we save it for more romantic time later?
I do not want to get married in this very twee void.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you on that. Let's go find some random civilians we can marry.
That's your outline. You exit, presumably on that mission.
Yeah, go back
Lady
to the front
Cat-
hall.
Yeah. Lady Catherine Solstice. You and your devoted maid Clara found this hidden armory in the passages underneath the manor. Host to a great variety of weapons, 4 blood-stained weapons, including the dagger formerly belonging to Baron Redding, as well as a shit ton of bullets.
Right. Did I do any investigation or related checks on any of these last time? I remember finding it. I don't remember. I mean, either way, I don't remember what I found. So
You definitely made an investigation. You found those bloodied weapons, and I think upon investigating one is how you found out it was Baron Redding's. You can do another investigation check, and you'll probably find some new information as well. So
I would like to do that. I'm looking for a D20. I have so many dice on my desk. There's one. Not that my investigation is particularly good, but there's another thing that I would like to. I feel like I remember thinking of this last time, and I don't remember if I actually did it or not. But either way, we can pick that up. I want to investigate, and I want to see if I can find any evidence of other people coming in here. Because it would be interesting to know. Someone obviously had to drop these off. This is like a weird underground tunnel. If there are tracks, maybe it was a person or any evidence of people. If not, might have been one of the ghosts that did it, which would also be information. So I'm investigating with the hope of maybe finding out who put these here. Or at least some information. That was a whole lot of setup to roll a 3.
You look for footprints? That doesn't really help.
She's a fighter. She's not, well, not in the mechanical sense, but, you know.
I don't seem to have Clara's character sheet on me. But if you'd want to roll an investigation for her.
Oh, no, because I actually, yes, I have a PDF of it because I changed it, but there we go. I do, yes, there it is. That is a far better 16.
Awesome. No, nothing on the front of anyone entering. In fact, in looking for footprints and physical signs of entry, yours are the only ones that would be apparent.
Okay.
Everything in the room seems to be all strewn across. So how they ended up coming to and fro is unknown. But Clara, in doing a little bit more of her own investigating, comes to the bullets as a point of interest. Mom, I do believe these may be the bullets that phony detective was pulling out of the pottery. Or his assistant was, I suppose.
The same bullets. How did they get down here? Why would the
How did they get
same
upstairs?
bullets? Suppose you have a point. Everything ending up in one spot seems like it would provide information, and it just raises more questions. And I'm tired of this place. It's dark and it's dirty. Should we...
But whoever put them down wasn't too careful. She sort of kicks a strewn about weapon.
See, now... that does tell me one maybe interesting thing, which is that if it's just kind of thrown here haphazardly, it probably wasn't staged. This is probably more of a genuine clue and not any sort of red herring because it's not set up. Unfortunately, I don't think Lady Solstice is smart enough to figure that out. I think she's gonna take the dagger, the murder dagger, which is a bad idea to take the murder weapon.
You can take the murder dagger, and you can take... There were 3 other weapons as well that were covered in presumably the same blood. I did not write down what those weapons were, foolishly. One of them was a pike, I believe.
Stabbed a bunch with various implements.
Just a bunch of stabbing. Lots of variety. But you can take the evidence you have found up with you, presumably returning to the same main hall as our other adventurers.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly where my path diverged. I know I went a different way in the tunnels, but I'm just going back to meet up with them wherever that would end up being.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good, very good. Very good, very good, very good.
Let me establish something real quick.
Sure.
So, Nikhil ended up in that closet because he followed Lafayette.
Yes.
Where's Lafayette? Did he get
That is
taken
still
to
the
this
question.
room
That's a
as
good
well? Or Because at some
Doc-
point, if he didn't, he would try to find me.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's with the keel,
Oh,
I
the
might be able to glean
bird.
information through that.
Yes, the
The
bird.
bird was with
bird.
me.
The owl.
The
yes.
bird was
In the
with
club.
you, but the portal opened underneath you. So
Yes.
Lafayette,
So that's
It's like a
It's stuck in a
cartoon.
closet?
Lafayette just
Oh.
stays flying. I fall down.
well, yeah, he has no reason to fall with you.
Yeah.
And in fact, Jake,
he can fly also. So
as his handler, I will let you make the call of whether Lafayette would opt to stay or try to follow through the portal. Following through the portal will require a check to get through successfully, but I'll leave what his training and instinct is up to you.
I mean, I would say he wouldn't want to just be trapped in a closet by himself. So
That's a
Mhm.
good
probably
point.
try to go with him.
Bird can't open doors.
So you can see, yeah, we
the
can see
door,
what,
maybe this blocking wasn't clear, but in my head, like, Tornaped is looking in the hallway at the empty closet, and then Bartholomew is behind him in the hallway. So Lafayette is not trapped in the closet.
We
Okay.
actually, I don't remember how it ended, but I left. They didn't get me in the closet, right? I left, and then they
No,
got
you
me.
left.
Yeah,
you keep
yeah,
saying
yeah.
you're in the closet. You weren't technically in the
I
closet.
was in a closet for a while, but I did leave. So the bird should be
Yes.
fine.
The bird is fine. You can choose to say he tried to follow, resulting in a check.
Sure.
All right.
let's roll and see what happens.
Sure. Let's
My,
say you roll dex. I feel like I do dex for a lot of things, but it feels like the right thing.
Owls are dexterous animals.
Yeah, and this is like a speed challenge.
Yeah, there's like a die. That'd be a dex. Reasonably.
Yeah.
Where is it? Lafayette. It's your dex, buddy. Okay.
I do think it's much funnier if I walk out of the closet and fall through a trap door, basically, and the bird just keeps going. I need an animatic
sev-
for that.
Oh, it's so
Just-
good.
17.
Whoop.
17.
We rolled a 16.
On-
He's got a +1 dex, and I rolled a 16.
All right. I was making that DC 15, so yeah, Lafayette
Oh boy.
gets into the room with
I'm
Turniped.
gonna talk to this fucking bird.
Now give me a stealth check for Lafayette to see if Lord Cedric notices. As I pray that I made a sheet for him. I believe I did.
Lafayette has a +3 to stealth, but he got an 8 total.
I guess it would be kind of difficult to hide an owl sort of just plunge diving through a portal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I'm not giving a fucking modifier. He rolled a 7. Cedric doesn't notice. He's doing a
Doesn't
thing.
notice the bird.
He's
Cedric's focused.
he's got business to deal with. Cedric doesn't notice the bird. Other figures in the room probably did.
Other figures.
Other
Other
figures.
figures.
Oh.
Who's in the
Dr.
Well.
Turniphead, you are joined not only by Lord Cedric Berister in all of his green, teal, ghoulish glory. You are joined by 3 other similarly ghostly figures, seemingly young boys. One of whom is a teen, the other a tween, and the other a young boy. One of the boys, the tween among them, has started to brew you a cup of tea. I do. How do you take your tea?
What is this room? Is it not like an office? I mean, I like in a break room.
Yeah, it's a study. So like, there's a mahogany desk, and books lining the walls, and a window that's covered. Normal study stuff.
How do I take my tea?
Sugar, milk.
Anything works? Where? Where is this?
Um,
Where am I now?
Ah, I'm very sorry. How rude of me. You're in my study on the top fifth floor of this manor. As I explained, I am Lord Cedric Barrister, the true owner of this abode. An abode which I shall remind you, you broke into.
No, no. Crawled, scaled, strode, never broke.
I suppose technically you did not break anything except for the law of ownership of property, but I suppose that doesn't so much apply to me now. Still, I do control quite a bit of what goes on here. Locke, could you... The chair, it's a little big for him. And the youngest of the three figures goes to a chair facing the opposite of Cedric's desk and squashes it down into a little bit of a smaller size, manipulating the shape of this object.
Oh,
Make me... Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Make me a little... Let's call it a history check to see if you
Hit.
recall something that happened earlier.
Good thing I'm the smart one. Let's see here. Ooh. Computer's lagging. We're going a la carte. Oh, hold on. So sorry. I don't know why the computer's taking 80 frames to do this. But this is the funnier roll, I think. So we're going to go with it. Yes, that is a nat 1 on the computer, which is a 9 for what it counts. But it is a nat 1 on
Whoa.
the computer.
That kid made that chair small. That's crazy. Anyway, here's your tea.
I don't mean to be a bother. I left something in the other room. Is there any chance one of you boys could go fetch it for me? It
Oh,
just feels like
yes.
it'd be an easier conversation that way.
Mark can handle that. What did you forget, and in which room?
A giant meat soup. I believe in just the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
He should be standing there.
Um,
You'll know it's him because all seem to be on his shoulders.
Certainly. Mark. And the oldest of the boys opens a portal on the ceiling, and through it falls your homunculus with illusory you on its shoulders. The portal closes. Don't know if anyone in the foyer noticed that. Probably
God.
did.
God, I hope that happens while Evelyn is back in the foyer.
We'll see.
I do just love the interaction of just like, oh, if you've forgotten something, what is it? My large man.
Now, meat suit. We
Yeah.
can't be having a confrontation without the meat suit.
Look, I'm very small, you're a tall ghost, there's a power dynamic here I'm not loving.
Oh, the fun of playing a Christmas elf, the whole bit, now in February.
Oh, goodness gracious. Grant, can you help the thing get to its feet? And Locke, you may want to make that chair bigger.
Yeah. If it's just possible, could we get like a second chair for him, set him up next to me? That would be nice.
Certainly. And Grant, with considerable effort, fetches a larger chair and hauls this massive body into it. Or actually, no, the homunculus can do that on its own.
Yeah, the homunculus will sit down. He's a helpful man.
Grant starts to, but to what extent he can breathe a sigh of relief as the homunculus sits itself into the chair.
I want to look at what his name's Grant. Whoever's doing this, I'm just like, hey, how
Yeah,
much
Grant.
do you get paid?
Oh, well, he doesn't get paid per se, although if money applied to us, he would be getting an allowance.
Does he work for you? You're ordering him around. You don't pay him?
I don't want to condescend to you as a man of the sciences, but as you can see,
Your
material
ghost
things
people?
like money don't matter to us anymore. Ghosts, it's a bit of a misnomer. Um, but no, they don't work for me. These three are my sons, who got locked into this fate along with me.
Okay. And then just add a character. There was a thing about Guy and Sons earlier. Someone said
Yeah,
earlier.
Vic mentioned that when you asked Vic by using Speak with Dead, who was moving the trays, I believe your question was, his response was the boys. These are the
Oh.
boys.
But upon hearing me and my sons, Dr. Turbid is going to do this exact little motion of just complete sadness, bury his face in his hands, and it's just like, you're kidding me. You guys were moving the stuff. I was promised automation, non-person movement.
Mm. I'm sorry to disappoint you in the state that it's in, but I assure you at one time this manor was exactly what you're looking for. The setup we had here, it was the pride of my life.
Okay, good. What was that?
What do you know of bestowments from the gods? Likely
Oh,
nothing.
no. I would assume very little to religion, to be honest.
Yeah.
He strikes me as a skeptic.
I won't even make you roll a history or anything to note that, like, that kind of thing is sort of a fairy tale. It's basically gods giving people superpowers, kind of out of the realm of anything that would happen in real life.
I'm just gonna motion to the homunculus and be like, I prefer to make my own bestowments.
And that is exactly why you caught my attention. I have been in need of a collaborator who is willing to play around the established rules of nature.
I'm so sorry. My computer is on 1%. Give me a second.
That's okay.
And by computer, he means the homunculus. It needs to recharge.
My homunculus is tired. Everyone needs to go to sleep, and then
does
we'll
it
be
need
right
to
back.
Oh, I would fuck up a nap right now. Let's go.
Now that the homunculus is back, Lafayette is going to perch on its head again.
Surely the man notices the owl perched on its
Yeah,
head.
he notices now. He is
Doing
annoyed.
anything wrong?
Wait, I want to see. I'm not even ready to say, but just for flavor, I would say Dr. Turniphead also for the first time notices that Lafayette's with him. Very confused.
Just preening.
Do I know it's your bird?
Power move.
We never
I don't
really
know.
spoke, I don't think. We
Did
spoke
you-
like one time.
We spoke a little bit.
Maybe at least
How
see-
close
I mean,
did you pay attention?
There's only one bird in here, and it's usually with a guy.
No, but I'm saying
That
like
you know of.
me and Jake's character
good
just have not really like hung out.
That's fair.
We talked a little
We've
bit.
been we've been doing different mini games most of the time. But I'll say I know it's your bird. That's nice.
All right.
Anyway,
Um,
sorry, feed me the line again, Mike. I had to go plug in.
What do you know of bestowments from the gods?
I prefer to make my own bestowments. Gods are
Yes.
finicky. Not very helpful.
Very, very finicky. Well, I'm sure to you, bestowments, powers, and miracles and the like are not but fairy tales, but I had one.
By striking a deal with the goddess of the moon, I had a power at my fingertips. Well, this manor did. What is the number one issue that plagues us resource-wise? Is it material things?
I don't know.
Mm.
Labor is what I would say. You're a ghost.
Labor
You still have ghost people working for
exactly.
you.
Yes. It always comes down to labor. If we want to live sustainably and comfortably, labor is something we need, but labor is not pleasant. And of course, when you have someone doing labor, things can be confused. They may act in ways you don't want them to, and they get tired, pesky things like that. But what if there was a way around all that?
Those are the problems I would identify, more the many people having to spend their entire lives working for other people. But yeah, I'm down for avoiding. That's what I'm here to figure out.
I mean,
If the answer is just dead boys, still against that. Just want to make that clear.
Give me an insight check real quick.
The doctor. All right, we gotta go. Armicon. Insight is 16.
When you mention people having to live their whole lives working for someone else, he gets his face of like, uh-oh. Do I have to change my message? But that quickly is kind of wiped off his face, replaced with his usual bravado. Yes, I suppose there is a humanitarian component to the issue as well, luckily. What if you could harvest the pure energy and potential of a person, assign it to a particular task? This was something this manor could once accomplish through a process known as Moonlight Decomplication.
Okay. And that meant that's the supposed automation was you were taking the essence of people? That's different than people?
In a sense, yes, it is. For lack of a better term, Moonlight Decomplication is a process which separates the wheat from the chaff. Human beings are made up of dualities. There is will and there is want. Will being the ability to do something, and want being the freedom. Mm-hmm. What Moonlight Decomplication does, it gets rid of all the pesky chaff, the id, the want, the mortal flesh of the body, and separates it from the pure will and energy. What you are left with is what I like to call the yield, but what an untrained eye would likely call a ghost. And what this yield is able to do is act autonomously at simple, repetitive tasks. Essentially, automation. No will or consciousness of its own, but its essence and energy remain.
What happens to the other half of the stuff?
Well, it happens what happens with any physical thing. It decomposes, it rots, it's eventually buried, ends up in the soil, what have you. Physically, the process worked essentially like throwing a person into the building and their body sort of ended up wherever it ended up. We would dispose of it as need be, etc., etc. The runoff. I never gave it that much thought.
So this is not so much automation as forcing people to become labor forever while removing all of their individual personality and letting it rot. You see, that's like the opposite of what I was going for.
But all of my laborers came here of their own free will.
Did they, or did they need money?
I didn't pay them. It wasn't a paid position. It was people who decided they had nothing more to give to their life than something like this. They wanted to be through with it, so may as well put it to some purpose, in a sense.
Sounds like very sad, deluded people.
They were, but I gave them a place to go and to no longer be. Until the moon goddess rescinded her half of the bargain. As you said, the gods are fickle, and through some perceived slight or other, eventually, Selune, who essentially kept the whole system running in the way that it did, revoked her support. What was left were the quote-unquote souls, the yields, just left in the manor, and without the harsh separation of Moonlight Decomplication, well, some of that id and personality found its way back into the yield. And the living folk in the manor, like me and my boys, well, we were reduced to this, a form of that yield with particular and yet limited abilities. As you can see, Mark makes portals, Grant can interact with physical objects, and Locke can manipulate the size and shape of things. As for me, well, so long as I'm on these grounds, I am functionally omnipotent.
Mm.
It is not the worst existence someone could conceive of, but after all this time, as you can imagine, we really would like to see the outside world again. Which is where I'd like to collaborate with you as a man of science.
Okay. What are you thinking?
I am thinking that your creation here, for as impressive as it is, could be even more refined if you could yourself find a way to get a bestowment onto it. After all, there are more gods than the moon goddess. I'm sure we can search the pantheon for someone who will have some use for a power, and as it stands, I'm sure that I'm the only person you know who would know how to get that kind of power.
What do you want to do to the homunculus? It's just
Nothing
meat.
but improve it. I mean, don't you think it would be better if it wasn't a bunch of repurposed skin and bones, if it was a little bit more cohesive in its design? Perhaps it could even run on something other than your own magic. Perhaps we could find a way to even mass reproduce your homunculi.
I mean,
I'm sure you're more of an idea guy than I am, but those are my
I
spitballs.
guess, but that's all religion stuff. You said you wanted science. I build these things. You want a fancy magic people? Go get a fancy magic person.
Science is the interpretation and study of natural phenomena. Now, who controls natural phenomena?
Who
really don't
else
wanna
but
have-
the gods?
I really don't want to have to ask gods for things. If I wanted to do that, I would have started doing that, you know? I build my own guys. Now, if you would like to try and possess one so you can go walk out and, I don't know, paint or whatever it is you'd like to do other than be in this house, that's fine. But if you're just trying to make a bunch of these, I don't really see why I'd want to help you. But you can get in it. Mark, hop in. See what happens.
We are not ghosts. We cannot possess.
It's got levers.
things.
I can control it. You can probably control it. Hop in, Mark. Give it a whirl.
Mark looks to his father like, and Cedric just kind of nods, and Mark gets in the homunculus, and his hands pass through the levers. Oh, there we go. We are
We'll work on
ghosts,
that.
quote unquote, in the sense that not all of us can interact with physical objects. Grant, on the other hand, would be able to attempt to control your homunculus. Grant, why don't you
Pick the
humor
wrong
this
brother.
strange man?
Go ahead, Grant.
Okay. Grant gets in the homunculus. And if you don't instruct him, he's just gonna start pulling shit.
Yeah, no, this is what Turniphead is down for. He can be the homunculus. He doesn't give a shit about the homunculus.
Okay. Yeah,
Scientific
Grant is just
method.
kind of
This is a meat
messing
suit to him.
around, moving arms and stuff.
See, this is the man. You got the whole thing backwards. The fleshy bit. That's the part you don't have to give a crap about. All of the wants and the interests and the personalities, the part you keep. All the like being able to do stuff function irrelevant. You guys are perfect now. You got your in 100%. Now you just need to be able to function in the world. And that's what this guy could help you do, maybe. You don't need a bajillion of them.
We can't exit the grounds.
Homunculus
Where
can.
the moon goddess's magic stops, we cannot exist. And that magic stops just shortly beyond the grounds of this manor.
Okay, so let's work on that.
I would love to work on that. But to work on that, we will need time. Which brings me to how we get the time. I won't bore you with too many of the details now, but if you could go out and find a woman named Molly, she
Okay.
will let you know the next steps of our little collaboration.
Just gonna ask a real quick question. I want you to know I don't fully care. I just for clarity, do you kill the guy, right? Or Molly or someone? Or you know who did? If you could just let me know. I don't want to get, stabbed here today.
Well, I didn't kill him.
Yeah, but you're
I haven't
omnipotent.
killed anyone.
You said you were omnipotent. So just tell me who to not be with so I don't get stabbed. And then I can help you. I can't help you if I get stabbed.
Stick with Molly and stick in the manor, and she and I shall do everything in our power to make sure you are unscathed. And that
Is it
power
because
is vast.
Molly's the stabber person?
Molly did not stab Victor Tem, no.
Cool. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. I will go
Okay.
talk to the Molly woman.
Very good. Mark, if you could place him back where he was. A
Thank you,
portal
Mark.
opens at your feet.
Real quick, actually, Grant, you're welcome to stay in there, bud, but you gotta come with me. Is the only thing.
Grant looks to his father, Cedric again,
begrudgingly nods.
All right, come on.
All right. And with that, you, Grant, the homunculus, and Lafayette are deposited back into that hallway.
Fascinating.
At that time, and again, I want everyone to understand that what Nikhil just did probably takes up the time of like the back half of episode 2.
Yeah.
Because he was probably at that minute closet for like 5 minutes. So,
Oh, was
ever
I?
so-
I think it's much better if I was in that closet for 2 hours and then walked out.
Some Chris Redfield
And then
shit.
got just so they're like, something's gonna happen. Surely.
This cannot just be a coincidence.
all right, this is how we'll play the timing then. We'll flash back to the lobby, and as Evie and the chaplain are coming in, since they were the closest, is about the moment that the homunculus disappears from the crowd in the foyer.
Oh, good. Dr. Turnip. That was unusual.
Very odd.
Would anyone here like to get married? Not to me, but like to somebody that you've brought with you. Or to me if you fit certain financial criteria. I'm really better about hiding this.
You look around to a room that is very oddly rigid, tense. They are all still organized in the lines and groups that the presumably now returning Lady Catherine Solstice intimidated into so they would stop killing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lady Solstice comes into the room and just kind of looks at her and goes, "Oh, good, they listened, at least mostly."
Lady Solstice, may I be excused to get married?
No, you stay where you
Actually-
are.
I actually would like to wed them together, if that's okay. I think this could help us solve the mystery and be a happy occasion, Lady Solstice, if that's...
How on earth is a marriage going to help us solve the murders? By the way, I pull out the bloody knife. I did find this.
Oh!
Best I can tell, this is the weapon that was used to kill whatever his name was. Not the first one or the second one, the third one.
Oh, Jason.
Sure.
The first one or the second one.
Yeah, here, Kaplinger, would you mind looking at that with the forehead thing, and just we'll see if there's any magic?
Yeah, I'll hand it to you or hold it out for you, whatever you need.
All right. Yeah. I take a look at this bloody knife.
There is not any energy on a particular point on it, but there is an outline of this spectral energy sort of along the edges of the item. I'll just give it to you. Actually, no, because I made Nikhil do one too. Make a history check to possibly connect to a prior point in this investigation.
Hmm, 17.
The outlines on the knife, while obviously not exact, do seem to have appeared in a similar fashion to the outline of spectral energy that was found on Victor Tem's body. What could it mean?
This was used for a murder.
My God.
As you're investigating that, Lady Solstice does just like force this into your hand. She doesn't want to hold it anymore. She will turn to Evie and go, "Now, explain your marriage proposal. Not proposal of marriage. Proposal as related to. You know what I meant."
I'm gonna lean in a little bit because I don't want to say this with the crowd in here. I'm gonna be like, we found a extra dimensional marriage chapel that has some kind of magic on it, and I want to run an experiment to see if I can't enlighten some of the details about this house. But I don't want to be the one getting married. I think it's probably safe. And if there are two people that legitimately want to get married, I think they'll be fine. I do think there might be some consequences if they like cheat on each other or something based on what may be a curse that's there. But if it's a legitimate and honest marriage,
All right, fine, whatever. And then she will turn back to the lines of people that she's organized and very loudly clap to get their attention. She goes, okay, we need 2 of you to get married for purposes that I'm not entirely aware of. Who wants to do it?
The same person from earlier raises their hand.
You and...
Oh, I didn't really have anyone.
Oh, did you
I mean,
think
if anyone's
me?
like down.
No,
hold on.
no.
I've got this actually. Excuse me. Can you come here, sir? Sir?
I gesture, allowing this guy to leave.
They come up to you.
Hi. All right. So, everyone, if I may have your attention, we have an eligible young bachelor here looking to get married. What is your name?
My name's Foley.
Foley. Excellent. So, Foley here is just truly an incredible young man and a very, very good catch for any of the... Are you into men, women, or other?
I'm not picky at all. Really,
For
no
any of
position to
the-
choose.
Sentient beings in the room.
Foley nods vigorously.
I lean down to Evie and I'm like, I could really just pick someone. Usually people listen to me in these kinds of things.
Oh, okay. I was gonna like speed dating game show this, but if
Oh
you
no,
wanted to
you
pick somebody-
absolutely can. That'd be way funnier. I was just going.
All right. So,
Kaplinger, minor illusions a rose in your hand.
The murder bachelor.
I'm like, well, now anyone here who is single and not otherwise betrothed or engaged, please step forward.
Oh. Guys, I just had a thought. It's Turniphead is not yet returned, right?
Yep.
So with the lore that we've established, this ominous conversation about like the sanctity of human souls is going on while the omnipotent dude on the other, he knows this is happening. We established he's omnipotent.
Matt,
This is
so
as
great.
I'm just like slowly annoying him. He's also listening to you guys doing.
There's the dead bachelor happening on the other side of the...
It's
Matt-
cut between this and then maybe like Grant, get in there, go.
Thank you for making that connection, Matt, because one rather calloused, beefy hand raises in the audience. I'd like to volunteer. It's none other than Bo, the recently recruited
Guy. I forgot about him.
Evil scientist assistant.
The hot but dumb guy.
I lost
butcher.
my evil scientist. The number one in evil scientist assistance is not supposed to not do. But
you're
this
looking
seems like a scientific cause, and I think the good, bad Dr. Turniphead would want me to marry this guy.
I think Dr. Turniphead would be 100% on board with this.
I forgot I already
I
had
agree.
something.
Yeah, Turniphead would really like that. Yeah.
All right. In that case, unless anything dramatic is about to happen, let's go to the chapel. It's this way. It's through the library. I understand that's a little strange.
Okay, a lot of like rabble as people file into the library.
Oh,
And
everyone.
Oh yeah, wait, are we bringing everybody? I will say, unless you clarify, unless you
we
clarify,
have to bring everybody. Oh, please! This is Eleanor now. Please, we need a wedding party.
I haven't interacted with Eleanor yet. I keep forgetting about this.
Mike,
I mean, here it is. Lady Solstice turns to this woman who is now just kind of like part of the other little team here. And who are you exactly?
I am Eleanor Duchess. You might know me from my earlier role as the detective. I was talking in a voice like this, see? So you might not recognize me now, but I took that coat off and now I'm me again, sort of. And please, we have to let them come. I mean, there are a bunch of chairs in there, and what's a wedding without witnesses and stuff like that? Please, it'll be so romantic.
Okay, we can let everybody drop in.
Mike, as the entire room is filing out, can that be when I get deposited back into this chamber?
Posited.
Absolutely.
Not the worst word.
I just
And-
think it's so funny that everyone's walking in the distance. You guys are probably in the front, and then Tournament just lands. It's like, well, I guess people are going that way. Just go see what that's all about.
People are going that way.
Come along, Grant.
Yeah.
Hold on. And before you follow the wedding procession, you look back to the
Wedding
voice
possession.
beckoning you. The wedding possession.
Double entendre.
Toward the back corner of the room, kind of near the entrance to coat check, is Molly.
Oh, right, I had a
Clearly
job.
looking for a word.
I'm gonna be honest, I totally forgot everything I ever did with this character in the last 2 episodes, but we got a new guy now. He's had a moment, he had a brief
Yeah.
lapse in memory, and now he's just got a new personality. But the doctor will do his job then, so never mind. You guys could do the scene you wanted to do. I just thought it'd be funny to tail into the wedding.
It would be funny, but unfortunately, that's like literally the perfect opportunity to do sneaky stuff, which you're going to be doing with Molly. So,
Practical.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
Too good.
I mean,
to
yeah.
the altar.
I'll help shepherd everybody in there.
Yeah. Let's cast roles for this wedding because Eleanor is doing her best to make you all do a whole song and dance. So we're at least going to need flower person. We're
I can
going to need a
officiate
ring
that
bear.
ceremony.
We need an officiant. So
And the
Evie,
ring
you're
bear was
gonna-
actually in the other campaign. I don't know if that can cross over with this.
Hey now, hey now. And also, is there anyone in our present party that would like a particular job or role in this ceremony?
Lady
Can I make a
Solstice in
suggestion?
other forms maybe, but in winter mode, fuck no.
Fair enough. You have a suggestion, Jess?
Can Lafayette be the ring bearer?
Good.
I feel like this is something that Evelyn would also suggest in character because an owl flying in with the rings is pretty amazing.
Eleanor nearly fucking dies from joy at this suggestion.
Mr. Chess, I think we will get along quite well.
Kaplinger, your verdict on that?
I'm just trying to determine if that's a good idea for you guys, for everyone else.
The bird blows up.
Okay.
Floating bird.
What are we
Sure.
rolling for? What could we possibly be rolling?
Because the bird is secretly a mind flayer, and if it touches a ring, it turns
No.
back to its original form.
It
Obviously,
is a celestial.
Matt.
That was confirmed that it was a celestial in some case, but by
Forgot
5e
that.
rules that I don't know, I think that can just be a familiar thing. Oh boy.
Yeah, no, Lafayette, we're fine with that. Yeah, give Lafayette some valuable gold rings, and let's get this party started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's a maniac
Hell.
bird.
yeah,
Yes.
no, it's fine.
And well, if nobody else wants to do it, I guess I can be the flower girl. Okay, I'll do it. And
Perfect.
Eleanor starts our procession by just taking the rose petals that are already present and like gathering them up and throwing them out and gathering them up and throwing them out. And it kind of devolves into her making snow angels in the middle of the aisle until she is finally courted away.
Perfect.
Foley enters, very confused and yet eager at this sudden turn of fate. Bo enters, very sad. Anyone on the edges of the aisles can hear him muttering as he passes, "Should be the doctor walking me down. But I failed him. Don't do this, Bo, not on your wedding day."
I totally forgot that Bo and Tournament had a brief Igor relationship.
Yeah, they
Really
did.
brief.
But it was important to him.
It was.
It meant the world to him.
Lady Solstice,
Uh,
for her part, is absolutely fucking baffled as to how this situation turned into this so quickly, and is standing in the back of the room, arms crossed, just like, what the hell is going on, as everyone else seems to be enjoying this.
Why not have a little fun?
People are dead!
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can't have a good time in a crisis, when can you? Like having a hurricane party.
Any Mhm.
Oh yes,
Any
right.
tragedy becomes a comedy with a simple wedding.
I don't like you.
Oh. Eleanor's genuinely sad.
Did not always
Well,
like this.
uh,
Don't worry.
Evie,
Yeah, okay.
balls in your court, get these boys married.
So with the two of them standing in the typical wedding pose of facing each other slightly too close to be socially acceptable in any other context, and Evie standing off to the side, she's going to lean in and she's going to say, "Life is short and cruel and full of pain, and death is the only release. But to choose somebody to stay with you till the end and see you through to freedom is the greatest honor you can give them." And, do either of you have any vows you would like to say? Doesn't seem like it. Oh.
Solemnly vow not to lose you in a haunted murder mansion. That's a mistake I'll never make ever again.
Specific.
What he said.
Excellent.
Okay, so one and or both of these people are dying, right?
Not dying, just getting lost.
And then I'm gonna
We'll see.
read the thing, the enchanted paper thing aloud again. The one about I forgot the exact text of it, but the one from the chapel.
Yes, the business about the spouses and the each spouse in this union with its greater bestowment is equally accountable for their vows of divine love. Should this love be betrayed through willful death or decomplication, the union and bestowment shall be null and void, and the offending spouse shall be persecuted as a sinner of the highest degree.
Until death do you eternity, you may now kiss your husband.
They kiss a little awkwardly. They were strangers 2 seconds ago, but neither seems unhappy with the experience. And as are you performing
Yes, I'm using the
the
ceremony
marriage spell, the ceremony spell? Amazing. Similar to before,
An explosion.
the altar, with its many moon goddess carvings, again glows in seeming oh my god, what's the word? Recognition of this ceremony, of this union. But having read from the sheet, that glowing grows more and more intense, seemingly fed from the energy of the sheet. That energy and light rises and rises, and in fact, particles of energy seem to be gathering toward the ceiling, almost in the shape of a moon, until they stop. And what you see at the top of the room is this orb of light particles that aren't quite coalesced into anything. And as if a process is being halted and abandoned, those particles of whitish tealish light just begin to fall like snow.
I'm gonna do an Arcana check because I have a +5 to those, and I want to
You
see what
can.
the fuck is happening.
And in fact, anyone in the room can as well, or if you would like to make an alternative check for alternative information, you may let me know. I will first roll for 21.
That was the face of an interesting roll, but in which direction?
I rolled for Amelia. She got a nat 20.
Good direction.
That's my wife.
Yeah.
Since my intelligence stat is very low, I would like to make a maybe more out there check, but possibly an interesting one. Can I insight on the new couple to see if they seem directly affected by this in any way?
Oh, interesting.
You may.
I actually have a bonus to that, so... 21. Glad I thought to do that.
All right.
So still very suspicious of all this. Lady Solstice is going to see how they look.
Chaplain, are there any checks you would like to make?
Yes, I rolled a 19 for religion.
Ooh.
19 for religion.
I love when the
Very
party
good.
spreads their intelligence out to get most information. Good job, us.
All right. So we have a nat 20 and a 21 for our Arcana, a 19 for our religion, and I believe it was a 21 for your investigation?
Insight on the couple.
On the couple. Okay. All very high rolls, all of which will certainly yield information. First, let's do our Arcana check. I'll give you a general spiel, and then I'll open you up to some questions since you both got high rolls. But basically, what you can see basically happened in that process was, again, the moon goddess Selune, as a goddess overseeing marriage, acknowledged the union. And from the document you read, seemingly there was more powerful magic going on and more specific magic going on. Magic that was specifically devoted to Selune. There was no aspect of the death god in this magic. And that moon magic that was seemingly happening seemed to just fail at some point, as if there was some requirement for the magic to work that was no longer fulfilled.
Like a bestowment that was specified in the poem that's no longer there.
Like a bestowment that was specified that was no longer there. Or you sort of get that, and you also get the impression that, like, while this building is, like, riddled with Selune iconography, it is also, like, severely defaced, and as such probably does not have as much power to conduct through. Almost like you had an electrical wire that was sort of cut at points, so it can't really conduct so well. But your angle about, like, the bestowment not being there is also not inaccurate. It's almost as if this place is no longer so much under Selune's domain as it used to be. That's what happens with the Arcana check. With the Insight check, the couple seems largely unchanged. This is probably magically, physically, and emotionally how two strangers would react to suddenly getting married in this very romantic and somewhat overbearing venue. In fact, none of the magic seemed to flow into them. All of the magic was concentrating into and out to parts of the room, and by extension, the manor itself.
Interesting. Okay.
And Jake,
Yes.
for your religion check, actually, I'm gonna loop back to Jess because I said I would give her questions, and then I'll kind of fill in remaining information with your religion check because there are probably a couple things I could give you. Jess, any particular questions about this phenomena?
So the main question I was going to ask you just answered with Matt's insight check about the magic going into the building.
Mhm.
And so you're saying that it seems like this place is no longer as much under Saloon's domain as it once was. Is that because it is? Am I able to tell if that's just purely because of the defacement, or does Saloon not care for this place anymore? Perhaps.
Mm.
And then I have one more after that, if that's one that you are unable to answer.
You don't get the sense necessarily that it's that Salune doesn't care for this place. You can't really, extrapolate that. But considering that the defacement is like specifically slashing out the eye iconography, it could be that this place no longer registers under Salune's like watch. It's almost like this whole place is sort of a blind spot to her and her magic now.
Okay. And my second question is, was that magic that just happened like like particularly more powerful than magic I've come across in the past? Like, did somebody perchance marry a fucking moon god and then make a room where they could cheat on the moon god by not having them see in there or some shit?
That's a leap. And I'm not going to say whether that's accurate or not. I will tell you that yes, this magic was very, very powerful and raw in a way that's like, you've seen magic before. You would imagine that this is what magic would look like if it was done by a god. There was just like a raw energy to it in that way. So it is very much godly magic. That other,
But yeah, that
I'm
other bit
not,
was my
yeah,
that
that's
was
a
me.
that's a good theory, but you're definitely going to need more evidence before you could say, yeah, that's probably what's going on.
All right. And I will let you give our good Kaplinger.
Yes. Chaplain, I hmm. Okay. I would think that as someone who has studied the gods and divinity and stuff like that, you would probably be a little bit more familiar with stories of bestowments and stuff like that. And while you probably didn't put too much stock to it in before, these are kind of folk tale type things. What you do know is that in most stories that go into like the sort of mechanics of how a bestowment would hypothetically work, is that there is some manner of sacrifice or rule that is made in exchange for that power, which you would assume is exactly what is being laid out upon this sheet. Upon seeing the attempt and then abandonment of this magic, well, the only times that usually happens is if that promise and those rules have been once broken. The problem is, once broken, the god's wrath is definitive and complete. So surely if someone went back on their deal with a god, this wouldn't be here anymore. So those are things you can kind of extrapolate from this abandoned ceremony, as it were. Although our boys are married, your ceremony spell still works in the way it's supposed to.
Oh, excellent. Oh, excellent.
So what do you do for fun? Oh,
I was really into I was a butcher, and I was like really into like just seeing like the different ways you can like mangle meat. Like it's so much different if you like cut something than if you like hit something, you know? Yeah, yeah, I do. That seems very cool. Would you want to like go home and like I don't know, like my home or your home and like I don't know, stab cows or something? The cows would already be dead. It would be the meat that we would stab and like we could see what different kinds of like sharpness of wooden stakes would like do. Uh yeah, that sounds like a fine way to spend a honeymoon. Sure.
You know, if I may suggest, one of you can hit the meat and the other one can use fire on the meat and see what happens. And perhaps then you sell the remains of your experiments, people.
You think people would do that? Like
Oh, yeah.
buy meat that you like beat up and then cooked?
I think so. I think you could cook it with fire, with smoke, with pressure, all sorts of different versions of you. I think actually you two could live your dreams without this taking a very dark turn into some other kind of hobby.
Is this? He's a butcher. What is he butchering for?
I think we
As a
shouldn't ask
butcher,
that,
I'm
maybe.
I'm so much more used to like raw meat that like the idea of like setting it on fire, I guess, is like just so far out of my comfort zone that like I don't know. And Foley takes his hand. It's like, well, I've done a little bit of cooking. We could do it together.
I
Yeah,
love
we
this,
could do that.
this B plot that's just this fantasy world's invention of hamburgers.
I was like, what? He was just cutting the meat for vibes earlier. I hadn't thought about cooking up.
Bo very clearly just likes the process of working with and cutting and or
From,
doing other actions upon meats.
from
This is
the
a
back
man
of
that
this
definitely
chamber.
learned what a
Oh
butcher
my
was
God.
after becoming a butcher. He was cutting meat one day, and someone said, "Hey, are you a butcher?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm a butcher. Do you want some meat?"
I
Listen,
if these
behind
two
the curtain,
survive. I was gonna say, if these two survive and we ever come back to this world that you've created, Mike, I want to play Foley or Bo after they're successful restaurant magnates.
Uh,
Oh, surely one of them's going to survive.
sure.
And I don't even mean the murders, I mean each other at this point.
Surely
Mike,
I
I would
wouldn't
like to try
bury
something.
both of these gays. Please try something. Yes.
So there are multiple instances of Salune's symbol like scratched
Mhm.
out in here.
Yes.
Any of them that you said there was some on the altar and so forth.
Mhm.
I would assume are they? Would you say they're all scratched in stone? Are there any scratched in wood?
The altar would most likely be made of wood.
Okay. I would like to take my crowbar and try to re-scratch the symbol in, like get rid of the messed up bits as much as I can to see if clearing up this symbol were to do anything in here.
Sure, yeah. Give me a check for whittling. Doesn't have to be a very good one.
I mean,
Let's
I do have
say
high
sleight of
dexterity.
hand.
Okay.
Let's call
Yes,
it a
that
sleight
is-
of hand DC like 10.
24.
Oh, you carved such a good symbol. And it glows. And that's kind of it.
So it did work, I guess. But what does that mean?
It did work. If you want to give me an Arcana check, you can get a little more insight into what exactly is going on with that.
That's only a 15.
That's okay. I would say, especially since you whittled it so good, that like if you were to carve this kind of symbol, like you've done it to the best of your ability. If what you were going for is like restoring the magic of this building or like pinging to Salune or something like that, you get the impression that a symbol like this just isn't equipped to do that kind of thing. In fact, with the faint glow that this is giving off, you get more the impression that again, it's more like a conductor, and it is drawing in and outputting the magical energy that is still present in the environment, but it is not generating any on its own, nor is it like having an impact on the wider world. Perhaps if there was something similar but of a much grander scale, you could get some different results, but that would await to be seen.
Yes. I have. I'll do this in character. I may have an inkling of an idea, but I'm not exactly sure how to accomplish it, but I think we need to get to the roof, like we were trying to do before.
Well, the outside's not going to work. I tried that, and it went horrendously. The large man, who I thought was in here, but I suppose is not, got a little farther. Inside is probably the bet.
I love that she now notices Turniphead's not there. It's been like 5 hours.
She's so confused as to what the fuck has been going on for the last 20 minutes. She found a murder weapon and then went back out to the main foyer and was like, we're gonna do a marriage ceremony.
And then the marriage ceremony was relevant. It would have been
Yeah.
so embarrassing to face Catherine if nothing had happened. If Mike was just going to be like, yeah, you could do a fucking wedding.
Though
Nice
for what
20
it's
minutes you
worth,
just wasted.
she doesn't know that it's technically relevant yet. She saw something weird happen. She was not present for, like, that weird thing that you read about sinners and getting punished. She didn't know what that was. She's so fucking confused.
Actually, hold on. For your sake, do you want to circle up and we can just kind of touch bases on what's going on? Because you
Yes.
discovered some things. We discovered some things. Dr. Turniphead fell through a hole in the floor, and I haven't really had a chance to mention that to any of y'all.
For the love of the gods, I found a bloody knife in an underground system of tunnels. And you have been here in... Looks around, pocket dimension. Here, doing whatever you've been doing.
You were there when we met the ghost, right?
Yes, she nods. She chased down the ghost, but did not speak
Hilarious
to him
sentence
much.
if not true.
I don't believe I talked to him much because if memory serves, I scared the shit out of him and he left.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you spoke to him.
If I did, it was brief, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was you and Jake that carved the symbol, like so that you could actually see the ghosts, right?
Mm-hmm. I think
I'm aware that there's ghosts regardless. We can assume that I've been briefed on any details I was not present for.
Spoon's magic, powers, things. We found this room, which was very hidden, from a hint that we got from the ghost man. We came in here. We found a very first inscription on the altar. We've just wed 2 people and saw that it reacted with a magic that, by the way, is more powerful than anything I've seen. That's some god magic shit. Something caused it to not go off. I think it's because of all the scratched out symbols here. My working theory is that somebody married a goddess in this room in the past, and that is the core of our problems. And I think these symbols all being scratched out are to stop her from seeing.
Fascinating,
Yeah, that was my
Evie. What does this have to do with the repeated murders?
I imagine whatever caused that is probably still going on. I think if the goddess and that person fell out, a person could be cursed. There are ghosts here, including one that seems to be in charge of our poor Frank with the crank.
Frank.
Frank. Perhaps we are dealing with the aftermath of a very powerful lover's quarrel that we are maybe not the most qualified for.
Well, I suppose that theory is as good as any that I have at the moment. Where do we go forward from here? Anyone have a plan as to how to deal with this?
Kaplinger had something.
Kaplinger, that was your name? I could have sworn it was Captain. Yes, continue.
Chaplain is my title, but Kaplinger is my name.
That rings no bells, but whatever.
So I agree with your assessment. I do think that these scratched out symbols are trying to avoid this goddess being able to see in here, but I think it is being done on a much larger scale, which is why I think we need to get to the roof. There were large things covered up there, and I believe that potentially, if those were uncovered, maybe this place would be more visible.
Oh, those
I
tarp. Do you
see.
think those are more of those eye symbols? Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Well,
That's
to the roof
my
it
idea.
is. Seems like a solid idea.
Eleanor, I know you said you've been upstairs before, and we've not found that staircase yet.
Yes. Yes, we should go upstairs. Problem. I have since re-gone through my memory, and well, it's so funny. There's definitely a way up there. It's not stairs.
Oh, what is it?
Um. So remember, so remember how the library it went spinny and like we all had so much fun and it was so cool. And when we were done, like the door was it wasn't standing up; it was on the ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can also definitely put the door on the ceiling, and then we be able to go up. We
Yeah,
just
okay.
have to find a way to get through the door.
I can probably
Now,
make that
we
work.
have,
How high up would it be?
We have about, let's see, like 48 people. Average height is like 5 feet, and that library was no good at eyeball measurements, but we probably only need like 25 of these people, and we could be tall enough to get through the door,
This seems like a flawless idea to me.
right?
Or, alternatively, this is a room of bookshelves, yes?
Oh yeah, tons of books. Like
Mhm.
even for a library, it's like okay, get another like decor. You know what I mean?
I'm perfectly physically capable of handling any sort of dizziness. Simply put the door on the side, I will grab on, and you spin the room, carrying me to the top with it.
Yeah, that works, I suppose.
May I
is
also
there-
suggest I have a bird that is perfectly capable of carrying one end of a rope up.
Oh, that seems actually the most sensible of all the options we've been given.
Birdie friend to the rescue. I love that so much.
If I may, we opened a book on marriage to get here. And we also were told to look for a book on the moon. Is the book on the moon perchance going to be the thing that makes the door stay on the ceiling?
Hey, that would make sense because like the moon is up.
It would. Eleanor, you so instinctively grabbed the correct book last time. Would you like to take a try again to see if you can't grab the right book again? Everybody out. Everybody back into the library. You do not want to be trapped in here when the door closes. You could stay if you want, but you will be stuck here forever.
When you say that, the sort of slow moving procession moves a little bit quicker, and everyone does get out of the library.
Excellent. Okay. Let's shoot for the moon, folks.
Let's shoot for the moon. And we can do that during a brief intermission. because we are about 2 hours into the session.
Perfect.
And spoiler alert, when we get back, I am going to ask you all to fuck off for a Nikhil scene. So before we do
Excellent.
that, let's take our time.
Two things going on here.
Like a little 5-minute break, while everyone except me and Nikhil will get like a little bit longer of a break than that as well. So,
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Matt with the intermission for Murder Under Moonlight Shade, Episode 3. We actually have an announcement today. I get to tell you a little bit about the next D&Dorks series, so let's just jump right into that. Now, this is not going to be a full reveal yet. I know quite a bit about this series, but I can't say too much because I'm not DMing it, and I don't want to step on the toes of any reveals that Jess has planned for her first full campaign debut on the show. I will tell you the name of the series, though. This upcoming one is going to be called D&Dorks One Day at a Time, and it is genuinely one of the most creative campaign concepts that I have ever heard in my life. It is going to be run on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is going to be full series length, so obviously this is an unscripted show, but somewhere floating around 8 episodes, and the cast will be Jess as DM, and then the return of Mike, Skyen, Nathan, and Josie, Jess's girlfriend, who has been on the show before, but also never in a full campaign appearance. Now, you might notice that I am not in that cast list, and not to make this all about me, but yes, in the 3-year history of D&Dorks, this is the first campaign that I will not be involved in as a DM or a player. There's no drama behind this or anything, I just have some other commitments that I really need to work on over these next couple months, so I'm not going to be actively as involved in D&Dorks. I will be back after this one, I'm not leaving, and I am sticking around to do some back-end for the show, but I'm really excited to get to watch the show that I've been doing for the last several years from the outside with you guys. It's going to be a different experience. So I will leave you in Jess's capable hands for that, and then by the time the next episode of Murder Under Moonlight Shade releases, I will have convened with her and gotten more information that I can tell you. Actually, I might just have her record a promo. That would probably make a lot more sense. Other than that very big announcement, pretty much business as usual for this episode. We have a Patreon. You should know about that by now. You know where to find it. You know what's there. I won't bother telling you again. So just gear up for a much bigger, more exciting announcement in episode 4, and as for this one, let's get back to the episode.
welcome back to Murder Under Moonlight Shade. Everyone who's not Nikhil, fuck off! It's time for
right.
conclusion. So you find yourself and your homunculus being piloted by Grant in the foyer, being beckoned by a rather curmudgeonly-looking Molly.
Tortiped motions to Grant, walks towards the person he probably met like one other time in passing, and just, hello, how are you?
Not great. This isn't exactly a normal night for me.
Right, because of all the murdering.
No, more
He-
because of
He
how
told
and
me that
why
you
the
did some
murder is
murdering,
happening.
so you can just say that you did the murdering.
It's just usually a lot more straightforward than it is right now, and I have no fucking idea why the process is getting so fucked up, but I guess this is what we're working with now.
You know, you could just not murder people.
I have my reasons.
Okay.
Listen, all you need to do is just make a wild goose chase for a decent chunk of the people. Just distract them, okay? You don't got to do any murder or anything like that right now.
Right now, I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna do any murder. Well, I'm not gonna do any murder at all, probably.
And you probably won't have to do it. I don't know. It's all that asshole.
Why did you do the murder?
Because it is in my best interest for this whole manor and the ghost situation to not go tits up.
Well, see, I came here to try and find a way to liberate my people from having to make stupid shoes and toys for dumb humans, and found out that the big secret to the automated mansion was removing all the fun parts of people and leaving only their work ethic. So I don't see how any of this is in my best interest at all.
That makes sense.
Cool.
I can't deny it.
So, why exactly should I be doing this wild goose chase for you? Which, first of all, still not related to science. I'm so confused why I was picked for this.
Well, if magic has enough rules, isn't it basically science?
I like to dabble in some alchemy, some magic science. That's fine, but the wild goose chase is still not really living up to my potential, I think. You could have gone any of the randos in here for that. I've talked to some of these people. They kind of just do random things on their own.
Hey,
What
believe
is
me,
it
if I
for?
was running this, there would be no you and there would be no rando. All right? I don't know why that jackass wants you or anything. It's because you're smart. He wants you on the team because you're smart and you can do science stuff. Says Grant, speaking up for
Says
the
Grant.
first time.
Well, that's very sweet, but again, not being asked to do any science stuff. Just distract people. I'm not distracty guy. I'm a build people guy.
Listen, if you want science stuff to do, then you
Then
do like
cut me in, do the science part.
necromancy. Do you do necromancy or anything like that?
Necromancy is a very loaded term. I prefer to think of it as recycling discarded meat to help aid the labor shortage.
Do you think you could take some of the meat that was fed to this manor and hypothetically restitch the soul to it?
Happily do that, but it would have to be the soul as it was and not the weird pulling out the will and the essence of the person thing that the guy was talking about. I want the fun stuff. Personality, want, desire.
It's not. The line between the two ever since the moon goddess magic left is a lot. The line is blurred. You can probably work with it.
Then, yeah, I mean, I think it works. Grant, how are you holding up?
Pretty good. This is actually the most fun I've had on one of these nights in a long time, because like it usually doesn't go like this. So this is, yeah.
How many nights like this have you had? Actually, can I go ahead and do history to see if I know of any other time this mansion opened up?
Sure.
Where did I put that die? That would be an absurdly high number. 24.
24.
Oh no, 26. Sorry, I'm bad at math.
26. In your studies of this mansion, because you're the only one who would have been like actively studying and looking at this, you know that this mansion has been active for, or there are records of this mansion dating back to about 200 years ago, maybe a little longer. So,
Wasn't it not open to the public? Like, isn't that the whole thing? Was this is like the one night people came?
yeah, it's like an obscure, and like this night of like people actually coming to it was a little bit more of, again, a folktale than anything else. But you were able to find it, and you do know that nights like this have happened before, probably if at roughly a 5 to 10 year interval.
Okay.
Once every half decade or decade. So there's been a decent amount of nights like this.
Notable. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, then he was talking. I just interrupted him.
Yeah. Yeah, Grant like looks to Molly, unsure of the actual number, and she says, "It doesn't matter. All you need to do is just, I don't know, lead the party on like a murder investigation. Find out how Victor Tem died."
At this, Turpin's gonna look around at the empty chamber and she's like, "Where are they again?"
Doing a wedding, I don't know. They're ordering a goose chase on their own.
Yeah, that. So that sounds like your job's done. I could get working on the meat people, do something that's what I do. I don't know if you were here for the original investigation. I was not. Oh, you were. Actually, I saw you. You saw my approach. It was take man into kitchen.
Listen, you're not going to get the answer to it just by examining the body. You're kind of going to have to do a different kind of reasoning, which is the whole point. It's supposed to keep you guys preoccupied for a little bit.
I have to say, I don't understand why you're cutting me in if you just want me to do what we were doing to begin with.
I'm not cutting you in. It's not my fucking
Oh
decision.
my
These are
god!
my
Then the
marching
other
orders.
guy's cutting me in. You're still the one I'm supposed to talk to about this. Why am I talking to you? Listen. You don't seem to like this being. What was his name again? Cedric?
Cedric.
You don't seem to like Cedric that much. I can't say I'm a huge fan of Cedric. So, how about this? You let me go do some necromancy. We'll use the term for now. And then they distract themselves. Me and you can work on what's important.
We need to do it after the night's over because we need time to do it right. If we just go ahead and do it, then Cedric is going to fuck us over somehow. He sees everything in the mansion, and honestly, the only reason he's not stopping us from colluding like this is probably because he feels like he can control it. I mean, right? She looks to Grant, who kind of sheepishly nods like, yeah, probably. Just know that if we get out of this, and you help me, it will fuck him over.
Okay. What is it exactly you're getting out of this again?
There's someone close to me who got wrapped up in this whole thing, and I'm just trying to get her out.
Fine. You're lucky. I came here trying to do a good deed anyway. I might as well do this stupid one. Grant, are you coming with me, or are you staying with Moody over here?
She looks between the two of you before emphatically pointing to you with his finger and with the homunculuses.
Awesome.
So you have your marching orders.
How close are we to the end of the building?
To the end of the building. You're in the foyer. You're closer to the entrance of the building than anything else because you're by weapons check.
Before we go, do you want to try to leave?
You're talking to Molly?
No, I'm talking to Grant. Because I was told that they can't leave, but now he's in a magic flesh suit.
You can try that. Sure.
It's Grant if you'd like to try. He can opt out.
Okay. No, Grant is willing to try that.
All right, awesome.
You're kind of like a friend to him now, / the newest human person he's directly interacted with it in 200 years. So yeah, he'll go along with that.
I want to say it reassuringly. I just be like, so I put a lot of magic in this thing. When you're in it, at least when I'm in it, it kind of merges my brain with it, and then we become one cool being. So I don't know if it'll work, but you may not register as whatever you're registering as right now. So we'll have to see what happens. It's called science. It's called experimentation. It's a key component.
Science is cool. Before we resolve that experiment, I will call everyone back and say they come into the foyer as you leave to do this.
My dearest apologies to Grant if I murder him, but
it'll probably be fine.
That's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be so fine. No problems.
We back?
We're back. Everyone else in the wedding procession starts to file back into the foyer, just in time to possibly catch Turniphead and his homunculus walking out the front door.
Okay, well...
Hey, your boss is alive.
Question.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I mean,
We're-
I'm still gonna, I'm still like dedicated to you, but oh, that's such a weight off my shoulders. Oh my gosh.
I hate to be this guy, but were the players going? I thought we were going back through the shifting room. That's on the way, right?
Oh. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
you're going
he
to
just
I don't
dropped
the
think
you in the
we.
library.
I don't
flurry.
think we see him leave.
Yeah, I don't think we
Well,
know.
You get into the library.
Everyone else
Molly
keeps
is going to
going,
go
but
into the doorway and say, "Hey, the doctor's trying to leave. Someone should probably try to stop him."
okay, I'm probably the fastest, so I'll go rush after him. And I'll go like out and excuse me. And where are you going?
Oh, also wait, no. To be very clear, Tornaped is sending the homunculus out.
Well, I don't know that.
Oh.
The elves is staying in the door.
Then Molly revises her statement to say the homunculus is trying to leave. Someone should probably stop it.
Oh, well, in that case, do I even care about the homunculus? That's the I wanted to kill that thing earlier. If it dies, it dies.
Is the
I
doctor
might
in the
blow up my
homunculus?
homunculus.
The doctor's not in the homunculus. The doctor's just
But to be
standing
fair-
in the doorway like a freak.
Not stated to you by Molly. You could
Yeah.
assume. You guys don't know that I picked up a straggler.
Can we
No,
see
I
you
mean-
when you
well-
say standing in the doorway? Which doorway?
The main entrance to Molly is in the entrance to the library,
Yeah.
and if you go through to the foyer, you'll see Turniped by the main entrance to the building.
Okay.
And also, like, I assume Jess asked that question about the homunculus in universe, to which Molly would reply, "The doctor's not in it,"
Yeah.
because we
okay.
have seen the homunculus like operate on
Yeah,
its own.
he shambles.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a smart guy. If he wants to go put his homunculus at risk, who are we to stop him?
I am still
Because
curious.
the
'cause
last
if the
thing that was by
doctor-
the entrance exploded.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say, in real life, I assumed that was Cedric, and so now that's what my character assumed too. I didn't even consider that might be a problem. I thought it was whatever weird curse was on these things.
If the doctor's standing in the doorway, I feel like he might also leave, which I don't know if that's logical, but that's what Lady Silta says. So yeah, she's just gonna very confidently stride up and stand over him and be like, "Excuse me, what on earth are you doing?"
It's very complicated, to be fully honest. I don't know if you could comprehend it, but basically there are like essences of people in this building, and I put one of them in the beastie there, and so I'm hoping the sort of entanglement of minds makes it register as a person, and he gets to leave because otherwise he can't leave.
Explain that better.
Where did I lose you? That was all perfectly rational. I don't know what you want from me.
She looks like she's about to kick you out the door following your homunculus. Use 5 words.
Ghost in body experiment. Done.
It was better, actually, for her purposes. Yeah, I mean, see, now that communicated the information far more effectively. There's a ghost in there. Do you want me to kill
They
it
prefer
now?
the term yield, but yeah, ghost.
And we're sending him outside just to get rid of it, or
Well, it can't leave. It's cursed to be
It
in
just-
the building.
it's just...
So I'm hoping. Well, that's the experiment.
Ah! See how much easier this is when you explain things quickly, little man.
This actually took much longer than my original delivery.
So long that bow.
Yeah,
has
I was
had
about to
time
say, I was like,
rush to
surely
your
someone is-
side. Oh, doctor. Oh, I thought I lost you. Oh, I thought you died on my watch. Oh, this is
I'm
my
gonna look
husband,
up
by the
at
way. Oh.
Matt's character and just like,
What do you want me to do about this? Is he not
who
your
is it?
minion?
oh yes, the Igor boy who thinks I'm evil. I'm not evil.
Jury's still out.
You may not be evil, but I'm your evil scientist assistant, and I please, even though I have erred so terribly, please tell me you'll have me back.
He also got married in your absence. It's been
Aren't
an
you
afternoon.
committed?
We're married for 5 minutes, and he's already on his knees begging for another man. Go figure.
Oh,
Well, that's just
actually,
I have to talk to Turniped.
Turniped, would you do me a favor and accept him back? I would just like to see what happens if there was a magical Turniped, experiment. Say yes that you'll take him back if he leaves his husband.
Lady Solstice is going to start slowly backing away, which is probably going to make this all the more confusing for you.
I think because you said Turniped experiment, because I feel like he would want to clarify not romantic in general, but you said to experiment, so he'll just say it.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
But my career or my marriage, how can I choose? I want you to know that he's moving in the exact same way Zac Efron is when he is in High
Bet
School
on it?
Musical, choosing between yes,
Oh,
Okay.
just dancer like head in his hands. Which one do I choose?
I'm fully expecting him to blow up. In character, not necessarily as a player, but in character, I'm like, this man's about to explode.
you can come back to work for me, I guess, when this night's over. I don't know about your weird husband. Sorry, I guess you're not weird. I just literally don't know who you are.
Bo is still like, and then Foley takes his hand. It's okay. I know it's your dream.
Do you like cutting meat too? I really only got this guy because he has a weird obsession with cutting dead things.
I mean, I could learn. I was planning to learn to like it anyway. So
Yeah,
sure.
well, I mean, I'm good. From what I understand, I'm gonna be cutting a lot more dead people up soon, so I could probably use you both, actually.
Do you care to elaborate on that? Also, I really need you to only take one. For an
As this
experiment.
conversation is going on, by the way, can I peek out
I
the
was
door
like,
and see
how
how
far
far
is
the
the
guy has
homunculus
gone?
out?
Yeah, because this
Yeah.
conversation
My
has
boy.
gone so off the rails.
Around this time of the conversation, as soon as you bother to look out, you see that the homunculus is cleared about 100 feet. It's gotten past the big, tall, spiky gate. And at about 120 and 100 or 130 feet, the homunculus falls over. And
Your
then sort of
large
gets up
man has fallen.
Is it
what
supposed to do
happened?
Wait. Falls over and gets up. I can do an Arcana check for this if needed, but gets up in a way that it's still being piloted, or gets up in a shambling way that it is my spell working on it.
It is no longer being piloted. If you look out, because if you look out to look for the ghost, which only Turniped would know to do,
Well, I
you
know
will
there's a
see
ghost
that
now.
basically he has been stopped by an invisible wall.
Oh, but he's
So
he's there. He's not just gone. I didn't dissipate.
No, he's not
this
just
poor boy.
gone. No,
Okay.
no.
Good.
My
Yeah.
interpretation of this, whether I can see this or not, is the ghost is piloting the guy, and the wall stopped the ghost, but not the dude, which is why it went
Okay. That's
Is that
totally
that is
true.
okay?
I
Cool.
My thought of this was that we watched the homunculus and he just keels over, and I've dissipated the ghost out of existence. I'm taking it too far. I was like,
I'm
well,
not
fuck.
that bad.
But that's he lost quote unquote consciousness mid step, and that's why he fell.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I like that imagery.
Okay, then I will simply call my dude back far enough for the ghost to get back in it if he'd like, Grant. And
Grant does get back in the ghost and starts trudging the homunculus back to the manor.
this is the cost of science, my friend. Sometimes you fail.
You said there was a ghost in there?
There's a ghost in there. His name's Grant.
Wanna do another experiment? If you and Grant are up for it?
He came really hot with all these experiments. After
I'm
not caring about my experiments really
in
at
a
all earlier.
scientific mood because I think it will perhaps keep me alive.
Try to cut open one guy on a kitchen table. Everyone yells at you. Then 10 hours later, everyone wants to be your friend doing experiments.
It turns out you were right to be doing experiments, even if it was an affront to death. I think there's a symbol that we can like paint on the forehead of your homunculus that might help keep a ghost in it as it leaves this house.
That could be helpful. Sure. Yeah.
Can I
Well, you're gonna have to
Reaching-
ask Grant. He's a person.
Oh, hi Grant. Can I paint a symbol on your forehead? It's the saloon symbol that's all over this house.
I don't know how that works physically.
On the
Mm,
homunculus
Sure.
forehead. Okay.
Well, what are you using for the paint?
Oh, she's gonna reach into her bag and pull out just like a eyeshadow palette and an eyeshadow brush and be like, I can just
A question, since the voice that came out of that thing seemed to be Grant. I remember, and this is something I was not present for, but it'll make sense. You mentioned that the three boys were like a teen, a tween, and then a young boy. What does this voice sound like? Because if it's like a 10-year-old's voice coming
is.
out of this 9-foot monster man, I
He's the
just
youngest,
would
right?
like to know that for the vibe.
Good news, Matt. That's exactly what's coming out of the homunculus. The
Okay,
voice of a
I wouldn't-
10-year-old boy.
I wouldn't necessarily call that good news, but Lady Solstice is what's going to get across. And I'm like, huh, ghost.
And just for my clarification, young man, are you dead?
That's like kind of complicated.
Doesn't seem like it should
No.
be particularly complicated.
My dad says that we have more in common with the living than the dead, even though we're not strictly like either of those.
They like the term yield. It
Yield.
basically means worst part of person, but unfortunately, they're getting some of the good parts of people back, and that's like a real issue for them.
So to be clear, this is the worst part of a child inside your monster man, whom you are trying to actively send away from these premises to do what have you? Because this does typically sound like the thing that I would be hired to remove from an area.
No, this is some of the good qualities back in a young
But
child,
most of the
in a
bad-
new body, going about his free, happy life.
I'm not convinced.
Let's just see if the body can even leave before we worry about
We
slaying
just
it.
did that.
We just put a saloon symbol on his forehead.
Grant, if you'd like to stroll back out.
Can I ask the room something? Molly speaks up. Why are we spending our time humoring what this ghost wants, even though it's probably the extremely evil entity that trapped us here in the first place?
That is
It's
exactly
not.
what
That
I'm
guy's
saying.
name is Cedric.
Whatever
Oh.
that jackass.
Everyone pause. She points actually a knife. She points a knife at you, Turbo, and goes, "You're aware of the entity controlling all this?"
Mm-hmm. I also know who did some of the murders.
Ah, excellent, small man. Bring me to them so I may eliminate them immediately.
He's gonna point at Molly.
Fuck. Okay, I'm. I'll be reasonable enough to do an insight check on Turniped if I can to see how reasonable this is.
Go for it.
Okay, God, it had to be in blue mode too.
Is there a pause while you're doing this?
That's a 6. So I'll kind of leave. I'll leave the
I will
pause
say
to Mike's
he'll point at
discretion.
Molly, but it's not in Turniped's nature to order death. So he will say something along the line of, "It's more complicated, but and then point at her.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna change. 6 on insight, Mike. I'll let you rule that at your discretion.
Mm.
Well, it's so funny because you're rolling low insight on the truth.
No, that's
So you probably do not think that it's the truth.
yeah.
And I will say for Jess's question, there's definitely a pause as Turniped points the finger to another party goer, and Lady Solstice makes this calculation of like how much sense that might make.
Okay.
So if there's anything you want to act upon during that pause, let us know.
Yeah, I think
Surely.
just because I don't want to see a death just fucking happen,
Again.
I'm gonna cast some false life on Molly and give her 5 extra hit points.
How nice.
You're taking the shield the victim option here. That said, if I did get a 6, and the ruling is it's insight on the truth, I didn't get it, so skeptical.
Mhm.
Okay, now holding one of my knives in each hand, pointing one at Turniped and one at Molly, however far across the room she might be. And your reasoning for this is?
Well, you know,
Bad start.
hold on. I'm thinking of things.
Bad continuation.
If I told you that she wanted us to talk about this in a longer term, would that be enough for us to talk about it in a longer term?
I think you should talk now.
I am talking now. I'm asking about if we could talk for longer.
You may continue talking.
Does that mean this is a
I'll take it.
distraction?
What? No. This man's got
You know,
negative charisma.
That was
He's
so
not the distraction guy.
incredibly suspicious.
This is the worst job to hire this little gnome
How
for.
big is Turniped?
Oh, I don't know. He's small enough to fit in this man, so it's
What?
like maybe
What?
3 feet.
How difficult would the roll be for my character to just pick him up?
Probably not
He's
hard.
sketchy. I just want to grab him.
I would suspect that's
And you
an
know what?
opposed athletics.
And you know
Which,
what? My guy has a guy in it, so he's not my guy
Yeah,
right
the
now.
guy's-
So this
the
is
guy's-
not great for turning.
All right, I'm gonna roll my athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the stats up here, and Nikhil, this is not.
Okay. Let me
I gotta
roll
roll.
mine. Maybe I'll whiff. Oh, I actually did get.
I
wait,
whiffed
no,
harder.
we're good. What?
I whiffed much harder.
What did you get?
I got a 4, which is -1 is a 3.
Okay, I only got a 7. But even that's still enough. Okay, so I still holding the knife at Molly. I put one of my knives back in my bracers, and then just by like the back of your shirt or whatever you're wearing, just hoist you up into the air. And go, speak for as long as you need.
At this point, Turniped's face, very smug face, is going to drop as he comes to the realization in real life that I just made and looks over at his homunculus, who is incapable of coming to his aid, and does some recalculations. Not used to being this vulnerable.
Yeah.
As you recalculate, Eleanor will bound into the scene.
Oh, like she's
Oh,
gonna
good
de-escalate against
heavens.
me.
Would you please let your civility reign over this barbarity? This is a wedding, for goodness sakes.
Considering
And a
my
murder.
options, right now I believe anything aside from stabbing would be considered quite civil.
Oh, this backstabbing and lollygagging. We were just making a breakthrough. We were going to go up to the ceiling.
Oh, the ceiling. That's a fun idea. Maybe we
No.
could do that.
Hold on. Bo, I know how we can save your master. You need to dump your spouse right now.
No.
Bo, if you would like to just help save your master, that also works.
Because I think the
Preferably
chaos
with
that
blades.
would cause things to happen, and then we can figure out without killing Turniphead why you're trying to distract us.
Hey, it's okay. I get it. Easy come, easy go. This
Actually,
will not be the last of us. But we're through. Which I guess qualifies enough as a divorce for
Oh,
our
Lord.
experimentation purposes.
Oh,
what did you
boy.
do?
It saved your life, I think.
That's a
cost?
real heavy I think at the end of that.
And then Bo explodes and kills all of us with the great holy rage of a ghost.
I think I can tank it.
TPK.
I'm so safe right now. It's the rest of y'all that gotta worry.
Hey, if need be, I'm gonna throw Turniphead as my first attack of any fight. So let's
I'm
see
trying
how
to
this
stop
goes.
that from happening.
Who all has
Miscalculations.
who all in this room has a Salune symbol on their person?
Not Turniphead.
Currently not me either, but the homunculus does
The-
now.
I don't have a working
The
one. I think I
homunculus
drew
does?
one, but it wasn't a reasonable approximation.
If
The
whatever
ever
Haplinger has one.
prepared. Yes, he does.
Whatever,
Good news, Haplinger. Your forehead starts to burn.
Ooh.
gonna let that one
Ow,
go.
ow, 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 ow.
Makeup wipe.
Oh, what about the homunculus?
Also burning. I don't know if it reacts to that, but it's burning. Your call as to whether it has a pain response, but like,
Oh,
and for what it's
Grant-
worth, it's not catching fire. It is visibly getting red and hot.
You
is the
can
symbol.
decide how merged you want Grant to be with this thing, but in my head, if I was in it, I would feel that pain.
I would assume you have some kind of physical hookup. Do you have a physical hookup that makes that happen, or is that purely magical?
For the pain receptor, that would be purely magical. That's just the melding concept.
I would say
Oh God! I'm
Would he
hoping this
even
man
feel
jumps
it?
out of my fucking body. If he could just jump out.
Yeah, Grant, I
I
think, is going to feel it and is going to exit the homunculus.
Let's go.
No fire or physical pain is... Well, he does feel some kind of physical pain, so he did get out of there. But it's not like the homunculus is sustaining physical damage, per se, but the symbol on its forehead is visibly growing hot, almost as if a rage is going through it.
All right. Well, we're gonna get really into the milliseconds, I think, here. But the moment that thing leaves, that homunculus is grabbing me. Maybe not away. It's putting hands on me.
Okay,
Sure,
well,
make a contested athletics check between Catherine and the homunculus.
okay, well,
Now
hold
that
on.
is a better one.
There's more. Now this is a ruling
Oh?
from Mike. This is a ruling from Mike. Because I could see this going either way. But you know the timing better. Could at any point recently, could I have gotten a short rest? Like, would the wedding ceremony have counted as a short rest? I don't think long has happened in any case here, but I don't know if a short, because that's only up to an hour. No, wait. No, yeah, a short rest is, I think, up to an hour. Or not up to, at least an hour.
I know because I
will-
haven't got a short rest, unless the closet counts. In which case, I'm down.
Well, let me double check.
You've had a solid chunk where you were just talking to people. Yes, I'll say you both. I'll say everyone, for their purposes, can have gotten a short rest because they were either at the wedding or in various meetings.
All
Okay,
right.
wait.
So before
Maybe
we do
that's
the-
not in the spirit of a short rest, but fuck it. This whole campaign is one night, so
I think that's reasonable because short rest is
Yeah.
A short rest is a period of downtime at least 1 hour long during which a character does nothing more strenuous than eating, drinking, reading, and tending to wounds. So if there was just like a talking for multiple hours, I think that's fine. Okay.
What do you get back as a short rest? Do you get spell slots back, or is that only long rest?
I get my monster form.
No, like just in general. Just in general.
You generally get like think
You
you're
can
able
use-
to recover some hit points from it,
Yeah.
and you'll get like certain resources back. It's really
Yeah.
dependent on the ability.
The only core thing for everybody is you can spend your hit dice, but then some abilities, my hybrid transformation being the big one for me, do recharge on short rest.
Okay, I gotta find out what I get back because I'm gonna need all my shit.
I am
Hybrid.
also looking through your shit. I don't think you've used any of your abilities that would have gotten.
I know. I used both my third level
Vanished.
spells, but I think I need a long rest to get them back.
There are
Yeah.
there are classes of spellcaster that can recharge spells on short rest. Or you're wizard, I'm assuming.
I think so.
I don't
yes.
think wizards can.
You are wizard, yes.
Yeah, I don't believe wizard is the one that can do that.
No, I used them both on like Animate Dead. I think. Animate Dead, Speak with Dead. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry for that somewhat unbalanced benefit, but hey.
Hey, no, it's
Thank
okay.
you.
I said it'd be.
It'll
I
be
said I
funnier
wanted
this
to.
way. Okay, so contested strength.
Contested
Or
athletics, right?
Contested athletics. We'll
Yes.
see. Okay, come on, good rolls. That's not ideal.
Which
I'll take
Catherine
that.
and the homunculus are quite well matched.
Yeah.
All right, I got a 24.
Oh, I got a 22. Damn it.
Let's go!
Damn it.
Homunculus
So
back again.
close. So,
Possession of the gnome has turned over.
yeah, you now have the gnome, and for everyone else in the room, are now just kind of just straight up two monsters. I am back with like the antlers having gained like a couple feet in height, staring down this homunculus thing.
Just for just to say what has happened here. You said the line about like, oh, leave your husband for this. They divorced. Immediately, Grant pops out. The homunculus grabs me from this monster as she turns into a monster and just slams the elf back inside of him through the zipper.
Anyone want to talk down this mini kaiju fight that might be brewing right now?
Eleanor's gonna start to try.
Oh, that's
Molly's
maybe
gonna
the
tackle
worst
her
option.
as she's about to get trampled.
The homunculus is gotta do some stuff. Let's see here.
Also, did anything happen from the explodey or from the saloon signals that are going off, or are they just hot?
the burning.
Those eventually dissipate. Roughly at the rate it would take something to actually cool, but it seems that this was just like a surge of magic, much like a lot of the other stuff, probably residual effect from whatever magic was left in this basically husk of a manor at this point.
Damn, I was really hoping it was a bigger distraction for us. The thing I don't want.
Jess, it worked perfectly for me. Don't you worry.
I mean, yeah, that did work out real good. I can't throw Turniped anymore.
There is
I wanted
a
the fastball
kaiju
specialist will
fight
do.
happening. Not only between Turniped and Catherine, but Bartholomew is also going to come in and try to get between the two of them to stop the violence. However successful that will be will remain to be seen.
Oh yeah, Bartholomew.
I
forgot about you, bud.
I hate to suggest this, but at what point do we roll initiative to get to see who has the potential to hit first, if that's where we're going?
I will say, Turniphead has pulled out a spatula. It doesn't look threatening, but it's a spatula, and he's holding it.
It's really tiny.
Not even out at you. He's just got it out. And he's going to turn to Grant, if he can see Grant, and be like, thank you.
Grant gives you a thumbs up, but is also just like kind of cross-legged watching this shit happen. This is clearly the most exciting thing he's seen in decades.
Oh yeah, if I was a 10-year-old ghost, this would be the coolest thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like I might have asked this before, but I don't remember the answer. Just for my note, Nikhil, does your homunculus have blood?
Yeah.
Okay. I might need, that might
well,
be
actually,
good for
it's got.
me.
I think we said bags of blood. Like they're all contained.
Okay.
So
but
I don't know.
there's
It would
blood
depend
in
exactly
there.
where you
Okay.
strike.
One second.
Yeah.
My cat just unplugged my monitor. I can still hear you guys just fine, but I can't see anything. Give me what?
Yeah,
I'm
go
so
ahead.
sorry. Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Oh.
Oh man, this will give me time to look over my fucking weapons. I didn't expect combat in this fucking game.
What? That's technically not
Believe me, I didn't
100% out of the question.
What is
We
it?
could something could happen here. But yeah, I mean, at this point, the little man has been very suspicious, and now the things that the little man has been doing, at least in Lady Solstice's eyes, have started burning people. So, Monster Hunter gonna monster hunt.
You should blame Justice character.
Hey,
Little man
hey,
didn't do
hey, hey!
shit.
I said in Lady Solstice's eyes.
Still, she
who
said,
says-
"Do this thing real quick."
That is true, but you were acting suspicious beforehand.
That's true.
Nikhil and Matt have had a little time to get themselves together for their possible combat. I will say, in the meanwhile, to the chaplain and to Lady Evelyn, there's a commotion going on. If there's anything you want to do, I will give you priority in terms of action, whether you want to get involved in this kerfuffle or take this opportunity to go away without anyone necessarily noticing. Or some other thing. You have free will.
Well,
I would like to talk to the little ghost child, if I may, for a second.
Sure. You can reapply the miner's helmet Salune symbol as well, since you rubbed the other one
So
off.
that was an illusion. That didn't
Okay.
burn it into my skin, did it? Like, is it now there for real?
I would assume you stopped the illusion before it could literally brand you, and
Okay.
now you can bring it back up if you would like to.
Okay. All right. I will do that.
All right.
Excuse me, young man.
It's like trying to talk to a little kid while he's watching cartoons. He's like, but he's not looking at you.
That might be okay. We were trying to get upstairs. Would you be able to help with that?
I'm probably not allowed to, but like you can get up there in the library.
go to the library, shall we, Kaplan?
Yeah. Let's.
Oh, there's a ladder. You can ask Frankie. There's a ladder somewhere.
Wait, can I just ask? So, we're on the first floor right now, right?
Yes.
We're still like right next to the exit, I think.
Well, just because the guy said he was on the 5th floor, and I've been keeping that in my head this whole time. Is the 5th
That is
floor
correct.
reasonably the top floor? Or is this a
Yep.
much bigger building than that?
I said before this is a 5-story building. I am making sure that continuity is correct. So yes. the
And I
5th floor is,
remembered that, and I was asking for everyone who did not.
There you go.
So after that little exchange, I want to reach into my pocket and grab one of the little biscuits that I usually give to Lafayette and give it to this little ghost boy.
Don't give the boy
Whether that
bird
works or not,
treats.
I mean, it's not, they're not. They're just little biscuits.
Do children like owl
However
treats? I
that
haven't
works,
talked to a child in
through
years.
him. I don't
mean,
know, but
knowing if a very
Kids these
distracted
days are their
10-year-old
owl
boy, if
treats.
you hand him something that looks remotely like a cookie in any form, it's not really going to be
Exactly,
questioned.
I did used to get very jealous of the bowl of dog treats at various establishments as a child.
I never said these weren't fit for
Same.
human consumption.
Grant takes the owl treat. Just kind of like looks at it confused. He can't hold it. He puts it in his mouth. He chews it. You see it the whole time.
He doesn't seem to react to the taste of it at all. Doesn't seem like he can even feel it. And just after having this crushed up mass in his mouth, not even mushy, he doesn't have spit. It's just crushed up.
Ugh.
He just kind of spittles the remains of it onto the ground. Thanks. I think.
Uncomfortable.
It goes back to watching the
Mike,
kaiju.
thank you.
Terrible.
Happily
Again, all
unsatisfied.
dry. It's not like spitty or gross or anything. It's just
Okay, it's still
A little
gross
weird.
in its own way.
I honestly, I don't think it's gross. I think that's just
You
like
know
watching
what?
someone smash a
Gross.
cookie. Like, who cares?
Yeah, like
Creepy
an
might be
Oreo
the
in a
word
plastic
more than
bag.
gross. Creepy
Yeah.
might be the word more than gross. All right, I'll give you
It's
that.
just sad.
off-putting for sure.
We'll
Yeah.
work on that next.
So Kaplinger and Evie are going to the library. You're going to be noticed by Eleanor, who is still sprawled on the ground, having been tackled by Molly after trying to get involved with the kaijus. She
Oh.
chases after you. What's up?
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
going to
Molly,
ask where Molly was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Molly's the one that tackled her, so she's right on top of Eleanor.
Molly, come with us if you can.
I
Molly,
fuck it, sure.
nah. Molly,
You know,
stay.
She shoots Turnipet a glance as she leaves, like, you made
Molly.
this bed.
This
So
is
you
your fault.
you murdered some people. I would love to hear about that. I'm not necessarily opposed, but I would like to not die personally. Let's talk. Let's walk.
Oh my god, yes, I love a walk and talk. I don't know what the murder business is, but yes, absolutely. By the way, I love your whole like outfit. She talks to Molly. Like you look like you're like an action hero. That's so cool. Molly has the look of someone between a rock and a hard place. But hell is behind her, so I guess this is better.
Yeah. We're going
You all
upstairs.
Mm-hmm. While you all do that, let's get to the crash bang boom, and resolve this kaiju fight. Y'all throwing hands? What's going on?
Molly is now left. I'm less inclined to throw hands.
I'm still pretty inclined to throw hands. I think that you're in a meat guy, and I can probably tear open the stomach of that meat guy and retrieve the gnome.
Harder than you think.
It's like
But
the worst
not
Kinder
unrealistic.
surprise ever.
Man, I fucking love D&D because it lets me say things like tear open the stomach of the meat guy and retrieve the gnome. And it just makes sense in this context.
I didn't. The killer's going that way, man.
Can I roll another insight check? I'm as a player, I'm willing to do that to maybe de-escalate this.
Go for it.
All right, let's see. I rolled that so far under my monitor. That's a 16. That's better.
A 16, and what specifically are you in? Just like the truthfulness of that statement.
The last time I didn't know what, like, I didn't believe him fully. So now I'm trying to see, because he's doubled down on it, which is interesting to me.
I will say, yeah, with a 16, I would think you would see, like, that he is genuinely trying to get this across. Like, you accurately interpret the social cue you are being given and think it is credible on a 16.
All right. In that case, I'm not changing back because I can hold this form for an hour and feel like it might be helpful at some point in under an hour. But I will kind of like drop my clawed hands down. All right. So I'm killing her then.
No. No kill. Yet.
Yet. Keyword. What is the condition in which yet happens?
Big ghost. Kill first.
You know what? I understood that, actually. Lead me to the big ghost so that I may kill it.
Honestly, at that, knowing that Cedric's omnipotent, I'm just kind of gonna wait a second. Like,
See if anything happens.
Bartholomew,
Ghost.
having previously come through to break up the fight, has now come through for seemingly a different purpose. I believe I can lead you in the correct direction, if you'll allow.
Do you not work for, presumably, this big ghost in question?
I do. I made
I
that
don't-
choice long ago.
I don't think
Typically,
he's a real man.
when I say I'm going to kill someone or something, if someone in that something's employ then offers to lead me to them, I take that as a trap, whatever your name is.
I'm gonna just roll my eyes as distinctly as I can in this monster body and motion for him to just open the dang fucking portal because I'm jumping through.
I like to imagine that when you roll your eyes in your
It's the whole
homunculus,
head.
they go in opposite directions.
They roll out of the body and come back up like yo-yos.
Bartholomew looks at you, Turniphead, with an expression that is no different than the one he has worn this entire evening, but somehow still reads as a fucking dude.
Turniphead's
After that-
exasperated.
Bartholomew unbuttons his shirt. My words don't serve so well for explanation, so if you'll excuse me. And revealing, rather than what would someone consider a conventional chest, reveals a contraption not unlike that of a cuckoo clock burst out of his chest. There is a little track that tiny, what would you call them? Pieces that make silhouettes run on, and it is lit in the back by a light, meaning that on the wall opposite he is putting on a little puppet show, essentially.
1, cool. 2, just so I'm clear, this is a mechanical structure?
Yes.
What an element. Okay. I mean,
So expecting just a little black hole. I did not think cuckoo clock.
that's Lady Solstice, not the type to listen to things like this. You know what? That caught both me as a player and her off guard enough. We're gonna hear this out for a second.
Turniphead is just facepalming as the creature. Just does not know what's happened to the night.
All right, let's watch the mechanical butler's weird shadow puppets.
Ask for a report.
Many years ago, I was a rather purposeless soul. There's a little silhouette puppet that looks like a small Kuma. I was desperate not for money, but for purpose. That is when I met Lord Cedric Barrister. He offered in exchange for my soul eternal life and eternal purpose. I cannot say the man I was wise to accept, but I did. These many years later, the many slaughters that have transpired here just to keep this building, to keep me alive, I have grown weary of it. I can't act directly against my master. There's a rules. He has a little piece that looks like a document with like a bunch of writing on it. However, one of the rules of this manor states that if you can best my master at a game, you are entitled to audience with him. The game I propose is that of mystery solving. If you can figure out how he killed Victor Tem, because he did kill Victor Tem, he will have no choice but to see you in his study. His most vulnerable position.
Mike,
Yeah?
which version did I? I can't remember which. I learned this at one point.
You learned
I'm gonna assume
kind
this
of
is
a
something
version of
from
this.
where I did not have my headphones on because I
I
don't know
know,
what
I don't
the
wanna-
fuck that meant.
I don't want to say it if
I can
it
take
wasn't
my
this
headphones off real
version.
quick if we need to
Nikhil-
clarify something.
Um,
I'm gonna. Should
would you
I-
like to clarify here out loud? You can also DM me any questions. I will tell you the version. Nikhil may have received some parallel information that has some discrepancies to what you're hearing now.
I did.
Who's to say what's real and what's not?
If y'all wouldn't mind disconnecting, we could just hash it out. for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Just wave. Whoops.
Let's huddle. Let's huddle. Let's huddle.
All right.
All right.
In one version, she told
Mhm.
me that she killed the dumb guy. In
Yeah.
another, I'm pretty sure she said the boys killed the first guy. And I don't know if they were the same, the one that got dropped, or if the boys killed is the second one.
So Molly killed Jacob. The boys killed Victor.
Yeah, I know. I just say I don't know which part of that I know at this point, if any. Because I know Molly was vague about the murders.
She was vague about the murders.
But there was-
And to be honest, I don't know exactly which version of events did get captured. I say we can split the difference, and you know that the boys killed Victor.
Okay,
'Cause
perfect. That's all I
that'll
would have.
give you some more direction and like the hullabaloo to follow. Anything else? Because I kind of threw you the fuck into this, and it's a lot of like subterfuge going on, and I apologize.
No,
for
it's
that.
very fun. It's a
right.
wonderful time. I'm trying to remember which things before I blurt them out. You
All right,
actually would know.
So we're
Okay.
good. All right.
So wait, so I know the boys did it. Did I not know the other one then?
You don't know the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
With information that I am not aware of established, can I insight
Yeah.
check the apparent robo ghost?
Yeah.
All right. That is a 14.
A 14? Low key, this robot man's kind of hard to read on an emotional level.
Read the silhouettes.
That makes a lot of sense.
You can
Um,
certainly be reasonable and say that this story is certainly far-fetched, but not necessarily more far-fetched than anything else that happened in this evening. And as a mechanical man, he does not have any clear tells that what he's saying is necessarily false.
I'll-
I know how he killed I know how it happened. That he got his kids, the Grant, to do it, and the other two. Do I win?
I am afraid you need to be a bit more specific.
Okay, Grant. Hey, how did your dad kill those people using you?
Okay, so I'm like super not allowed to say. Like that's the big.
Grant?
Oh,
biggest
am I
thing
gonna
that I'm
have to
not
scare
allowed
the
to
fuck
say.
out of this child?
Grant, buddy, if you want to eat things, I'll let you back in this body. It'll probably work. You can eat things. You just gotta confess one tiny little secret. And your dad
I
already
don't-
knows we're having this conversation, so you're probably fine.
I just ate a thing. It wasn't particularly pleasant.
No, but you
and
need it for
I-
real. You digest. I have
really-
entrails. I have
Well,
intestine.
he's backing to the wall.
I'm gonna
and
take
there's
a step towards this ghost boy. Now, I can't do my super enhanced intimidation because he does not, in fact, have blood, so I can't use my blood magic on him. That's still good. I am gonna try to scare this kid. I'll roll my intimidation first, then I'll do the scene. We'll see how this goes. That's an 18, which is decent, though even with my bonus is not that much. So, still a giant monster lady. I'm going to step towards this little ghost boy. Like, small ghost. Wait, actually, I can see him, right? There's something in the room which is illuminating him.
I will say I will say yes. I've been
Okay.
playing fast and loose as to who can see the ghosts and when, for which I apologize. But we will say that there's something in this room
Okay.
that makes you see him. Yes.
Theoretically, the
Um,
homunculus still has something. But yeah, if I can
yeah,
see
that's
him,
what it does.
I will step towards this little ghost child. Small ghost boy, you seem to not have the ability to interact with physical matter in the way that I am used to. Rest assured, I will find a way to touch your little ghost form and rip your limbs off piece by piece if you do not provide some clarity on the situation.
If a ghost can turn more white, Grant does. A portal then opens behind him, and he is pulled back by one of his ghost brothers in the portal closest.
Yeah, as a player,
Great
I
work.
knew that was going to happen. But
Great job, bud. Really killed that.
in character, I kind of had to.
Okay, I'm gonna argue with the butler now. Technically, I know how he did it. So you didn't ask how they did it. I know how he did it, which is using them. So I
And
think
what-
I win.
What killed Victor Tam?
Grant!
Not who.
If their dad's gonna use them as weapons, I should be able to count them as weapons.
He didn't.
I never liked you.
I never had the capacity to feel anything for you.
Yeah, see, this would usually
That hurts
be-
hard. That hurts to defend to a score.
This would usually be when I try to scare the hell out of them, but I don't believe my usual tactics will work on a robot man. Robot man, would you particularly care if I reached inside that mechanical chest of yours and just tore out all the gears?
As I have established, no.
I had to make an attempt. I might do it, just... I feel like it would be cathartic at this point.
You may. There are many parts inside me.
Well, now it feels uncomfortable.
The hell?
Oh, now it's uncomfortable. Dr. Triniped is at this point, because now the Grant's gone and Molly's gone. While they're arguing, Dr. Triniped's going to start shuffling away towards where everyone else went.
I mean, I'm gonna go with you. Everyone interesting left. This guy just pisses me off.
Oh,
We have information.
murder mystery.
We have information.
Everyone wants to do it.
And I feel like the other half of the party is making far greater strides towards actually capitalizing on it. So maybe we see how they're doing.
Yeah, let's check in on that other half of the party and what they were doing while y'all were doing your puppet show and fighting show.
I think
Waste
it'd be
of time.
very funny if we
Mhm.
had the bookshelves in the right place. We had the ladder up that we were told about. We were like ready to go. Like it's the smoothest anything has run for this group has been while these two are off arguing. Just because every time you've left and come back, so much shit has happened.
It's like the happy
Mhm.
dishwashing scene in any movie. It's just playing upbeat music, you and Chaplin working together, getting the ladder, montage.
Like, oh, you're a chaplain. I'm a cleric. Fascinating. Great teamwork.
Yeah, it goes smoothly because when you get in the library, Frank is already in there with the ladder.
Yep.
Hey, do not ask how. I cannot tell you how. But I am abreast of the whole situation. I got the ladder right here. You just gotta do the room around. So, easy peasy, you'll get right upstairs. You'll get right up there. Oh, this is so
Perfect.
freeing
Yeah.
to just help you,
Free. So free. And when we get to the next one, and I presume finding that moon book to get up there, and we get to the next one. There's more than just one floor. How do we keep going up? I suppose I should ask.
Well, that kind of differs on the floor. And
That's
I
fair.
can try to help you on the floor, but the second floor is it's kind of a fucking mess.
Does this take us to the second floor? The ceiling is about 25 human beings tall, according to what people were saying earlier, which is surely more than one story.
I'd like to reiterate,
Measuring distances with my eyes, not my strongest suit.
You're
Oh,
right.
may
This
have
is
been
only
left
about
in
one
my
story.
In Eleanor's defense, not that I'm there, I was interpreting it as 25 people as a human pyramid,
Oh, I was
which
thinking human ladder. Yeah, that
maybe makes
okay.
more
I mean,
sense.
The
That makes-
story is like 13 feet, so that's like two people standing on top of each other.
I also don't
I
trust
was-
Eleanor to do math.
I
was
will
also-
100% accept the Eleanor is bad at math explanation.
I was also thinking human ladder, but I'm bad at distances in real life, so...
Too late, it's canon. This is a gigantic ass room.
No, it's not. Eleanor was wrong and the room is normal size.
Eleanor's a little bit high. We're just not going to worry about it.
Yeah,
so who knows
Eleanor
if
is
actual distances are real in this place?
We went into a fucking rose void. Maybe the room is super big and spatial reasons fuck you. When you go upstairs, you'll be on the second of 5 floors.
You know, I can't disagree. Okay. The second floor's messed up. How do we get from the second floor to the third floor and so on and so forth? So floorth, if you will. I'm so sorry.
Well, there should be doors on those other floors. I'm pretty sure the second floor there's like a more of a traditional attic situation, which will get you to the third floor like a lot more easily. And then the third floor is like that floor is just like one thing, so like it's not even gonna be complicated at all.
Okay. Just one thing? Like one specific thing?
Yeah, one specific thing that I am
Not worried
I don't know
about?
what you're gonna do when you get up there. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm just, I might prepare some metaphorical popcorn. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to
Frank.
roll an insight for like all of his,
Yeah, I think
all
I
of
will.
his
'Cause I
shit.
don't know what
Yeah.
metaphorical popcorn is. And I'm probably not going to. Oh, my insight bonus is +6. That gives me a 9. That's probably not getting very well for me.
This is society that figured out heating up corn before meat.
with
I don't-
I
I think it was just the one idiot who didn't think of heating up meat.
I said this ghost was wearing Timbs. He can reference popcorn.
This one guy invented popcorn. That was his claim to fame.
And with the 9, I will tell you that when he says metaphorical popcorn, he means like there's gonna just be some like drama, probably.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I love some drama.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I don't know. This is like,
Frank, when you say the third floor is all one thing, that you don't mean like a big pit of acid or something. Like, you got to give us a little bit here.
I'm thinking it's a story.
How the heck would that even work? The acid would melt through the rest of the building. No, it's not that kind of thing. The third floor is all like one thing with it just has a singular purpose. Is what that means.
Is the purpose acid?
No, the purpose is to convey a sad story about a failed marriage.
That was a
Nah.
Can we
normal
climb
laugh.
this fucking ladder?
Yeah, what a
please?
normal reaction to have.
Yeah.
Molly
I'm not even
says,
there,
"Can we
but-
climb this fucking ladder, please?"
Oh, yes. And I guess I spin the ship, put the ladder up, do all the things. Do I need to do anything to spin that bookshelf or?
Nope. Eleanor knows what book to get. Huh.
She always
Not weird
does.
at all.
Yeah.
I don't trust Eleanor, but I have no reason because like she's been so polite and pleasant.
If you need somebody to confront Eleanor, just bring me back in there. I'll do it unprompted.
All right, I think that's actually a perfect time for you to come back in. Is we've got the ladder up to the door and we are starting to head up. We're like, oh,
Perfect.
you guys didn't kill each other? If that's okay with Mike, the DM,
Come on.
you can say no.
You, I meant bring me in metaphorically. I did not literally mean I need to be in here in this scene. I meant if that needs to happen in this campaign, I can do it.
Here's the thing. I was kind of planning to be an asshole, and I'm still planning to be an asshole.
Oh fuck
So
yeah!
this is how you end up trapped in the
Your
closet for 2 hours,
your
Matt. Welcome
process
to
with
closet hell
Frank
with
was
it.
so your process with Frank was so expedited that even with your chit chat, you are up the ladder before the conflict in the other room has even resolved.
Oh, perfect.
I can probably jump it when I get there. I'll be fine. You guys go.
Yeah, by the time anyone can get into the library, Frank has already taken down the ladder and fucked off. That's like his only ladder of that size. He needs that ladder. Come on.
That's true. That's a useful ladder. Okay. Then yeah, I guess we just
Do
head
I-
up the stairs then.
Yeah.
Does he start like packing up right away?
Once you guys are up and through the door, yes, he will start like packing it away.
Okay, can I tie off a rope and drop it down? There's just a
Yeah,
rope
sure.
hanging from there. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
just gonna leave a rope.
Cool.
All right.
You get up to the second floor. Weird ass is the best way to describe it.
Oh.
You see a hallway. It's set up similarly to the corridors in the basement in that it seems to be one big loop, one big square, with doors rather than above on the sides, you know, going into traditional rooms and such. But the proportions are all weird and off. The hallway isn't necessarily a square shape, it's sort of an uneven five-sided shape is the hallways, and they slant up and down. Almost like you took a Photoshop tool and went crazy with just like the transform or whatever you want to call it kind of function.
Oh, does it look like an MC Escher painting in here?
Yes, but without the intentionality.
Even
Oh,
more, Asher.
Good description.
To really spell out what's been going on in this hallway, somewhere you see along it Luck, the 8-year-old boy, just kind of idly stretching and squashing some parts of the hallway. Not much rhyme or reason, just kind of bored and idly doing that.
This is the ghost playroom.
It's the boys' floor. It's where they get to fuck around.
Hey, kid. You're moving the floor around.
Yeah.
You probably don't want us here.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Because you could just make it like a staircase up to the next floor if you want to get rid of us, and we will leave you guys alone to do your thing.
I could probably try that. And he makes what looks like a staircase shape out of a wall. It's not a very good staircase. The stairs are very uneven and weirdly shallow. It would kind of be hard to step on. I don't really practice stairs a lot. Stairs are like kind of boring.
No, I respect that. This is cool. This is actually so cool. How long have you been doing this?
However long we been here. Molly, how long we been here? And Molly,
Molly.
like, "Mm."
Molly, how long have they been there? I see you know how long they've been here.
How should I know? I got here the same night as you guys.
Molly, we already know you did the killings and that you're part of it. It's fine.
I didn't kill anyone. Oh, come on. Isn't the grief weighing on your soul? Don't you just want to lift it off and be free? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You don't know anything about what's going on here. You don't know anything about what you're saying. You don't know what the fuck you are.
Oh, she is something.
Not anymore.
She was something.
Mike.
All right, fuck it. Pretense is dead. The attic's this way. Fucking thanks, Locke.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Locke.
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Good kid.
Give
You
Locke
ever
a biscuit.
have a That
Locke can't touch it. He makes it bigger, and then he makes it smaller.
yo.
There you go. It's a toy.
Awesome.
You can wait,
Thanks,
hold on. You could change the size of absolutely anything.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Can you do that to liquids?
S- mm, Probably not, because like I can make a glass bigger, but when I try to like make the liquid bigger, it just like it it doesn't like it gets bigger like a puddle gets bigger. Like it yeah.
Okay. No.
It kind of has to be like a solid thing for me to make it like a bigger thing.
I won't hand you a bottle of holy water and see if we can't make that more. Okay, yeah. Attic, we said let's
I will say, if you did get him to try it, like what you would witness is the container getting bigger and the amount of liquid inside remaining the same.
Can I add a weird little nuance to that? And this is more of a fun fact about the real world than something that would necessarily work in Mike's world. So I'll leave it to his discretion. The way that holy water works in real world religion is if you add holy water to regular water, the regular water also becomes holy. The proportions do not matter at all. You can put a drop of holy water in any water source and it does not dilute. You can holy water scales infinitely. Like, it's a very weird little religious quirk that
wait. Could I get holy water and pour it in the ocean and
theoretically
make the entire ocean
I
holy water?
guarantee you
I mean,
that by
It's also
like that's
not
definitely
to step on
happened.
not to step on any Christian toes, but like you also just need a priest to kind of look at it and be like, "That's all holy now." There's not a hard science to holy water.
Sure, but I just feel like taking the moment to intentionally turn the entire ocean into holy water.
Well, someone has. I guarantee you.
Yeah, there's no way no one has.
But just in case, having been the person to do it, what a fascinating thing.
Yeah, I remember learning.
there's
I
no
don't remember
underwater
where I
vampire.
learned that, but I was like, that's a wild true thing. Anyway, continue. I don't know if that's going to be relevant, but I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'm sure at some point you could also have a priest that's like, "Never mind, that's not holy water." Like if you did that and then it was like got on the news,
Get a-
and, like,
get
the
a-
Atlantic Ocean's holy water. I'm sure
every-
the Pope would be like, "No, it's not," and then you'd be like, "Ah."
Every month they send a priest
darn.
out to the ocean just to curse it real quick
Yeah. They're like, yeah, damn this.
on a regular basis.
Damn it. But
We used to only do it once every couple of months, but people kept pouring more holy water in there. Anyway, continue. That was a derail.
Yeah, we're coming back to this in the post show though. Pay $5
For
with Patreon.
sure.
Watch the post show. There are implications.
now that you're saying
for the
this, we
ability
can't
to
cut
make
it
an
out.
ocean
They're just
of
gonna
holy
hear
water.
the holy water.
All right, whatever. Keep going.
Speaking of the
Hit plug.
post show, let's try to get to that point. We'll check in on the other half of our party.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. We have all done our fair share of lollygagging. We have 2 months of pent up fuckery
That is true.
to do.
Brewing.
Yeah, we do.
In the interest of speed, I assume we're going to the library. There's no ladder
Yes.
there. I am just gonna try to jump it. I've got.
There's a rope. I left the rope.
You did leave a rope.
I'm still gonna try
I wanna-
to jump it to flex. So
Before we get to that, I do want to say that I have no idea where the library is, and I was just shambling away, and I'm just gonna try and sort of lose this man behind me or this woman behind me.
oh,
But I've never been to the library.
I don't think she's letting you out of her sight, and I'm gonna bring you along with me unless you protest.
I'm going to roll to try and lose you because I have another
Okay.
hopeful plan.
What would that be? Perception v stealth? I cannot imagine your
Probably.
stealth is high.
It's not a high stealth, no, but we're gonna try because
I don't have a crazy perception.
there is no reason
17.
to go to the library. Well, that would be a 6.
And where are
So-
you going?
The library.
Nope. This way.
The other one. And you go that way. I'll go my way. We'll race.
She's just gonna fucking dead stare you. Like, I'll do an intimidation check if need be, but no fucking way I believe that.
Okay, fine. Here, 1 second. And I'm gonna like go up to a wall and very quietly, what was the name of the kid that did the portals again? It's not Locke or
Mark.
Grant, so it's Mark.
It's
Very
Mark.
quietly, just like, Mark, put me on the 5th floor again, bud. Do it real quick like you did for Grant. It's fine.
There
Mark,
is
please.
Yeah,
There's
there is
quite
a
a
window of
pause.
time where if this goes on for long enough, I'm going to do something, but it's going to take a second to process.
It's up to Megan.
after about a second and a half, Mark does oblige.
Nice.
Um,
I'm going right through.
the
Reliable
Hello,
Mark.
doctor.
Hello.
This-
You might want to shut that before the angry person gets in to murder you.
The portal is already shut. You
Oh,
are
then
now
we're
speaking
fine.
with Cedric.
Hello, Cedric. I did the distraction. You're welcome. Everyone's very confused
I-
on who did the murders.
Not
No,
be
the
listening
fuck
to
you
this?
did not.
I did. I did, though. You wanted me to well, first of all, you sent me to Molly to send me to go get people to think about who did the murders. Done. They're all occupied on that. You're welcome, sir. There was a whole thing. There was a puppet show. That was weird. We did a whole thing walking your son up and down 100 yards twice.
Yes, that was
We-
called saving the fucking gambit because you did not do it very well. In fact,
I-
like every move you made in there was to get away from the
I-
investigation.
Was asked to distract. They all seem distracted. So, I think we've won. Now,
I don't like it.
you
I don't
picked
like the way
me.
you interpret my
Is there any science that I could do that's not this? I'm not good at this part, man. I'm trying to comply. You've seen me complying. I could have gotten Molly killed. I almost did. But then I didn't.
I'll make sure you don't die. I will probably have a scientific use for you later in this evening. But until then, because you did such a terrible job of what I asked you to do, fuck off. Mark?
Okay. No, Mark, put me on the roof if you can. That'll help with this whole thing. I'll be waiting for him. It'll be good. Also,
Marco?
they might pass through here, bud. To Cedric, they might pass through here. I don't know how you plan to get around that, but just letting you know, we're trying to get up there.
Mark opens a portal under you. You're on the roof.
Boom! Good for me. I'm done. I'll wait for them.
Okay.
Grant, you're on the roof. Fuck it. That's where your thing ends. Catherine.
That's good with me. I made it to the
Yeah,
roof.
I
did it.
mean, with a loud string of curse words, so intense you can probably hear him on the 5th floor. Still in monster form, she's gonna storm to the library and, especially angry now, just gonna try to jump it, which I assume is an athletics check. Not that it even matters. Just why not?
Yeah, let's see how fucked up an athletics check you can get.
A pretty good
How
one.
tall is this form on its own?
That is a 23 for note on athletics. She's
It's
like
23 feet.
she's like 6 feet tall naturally, and her hybrid form is bigger, but I don't believe that it actually says a cannon size. So I've just been assuming like gain a foot or two to take her to like 8-ish to 9-ish feet.
Yeah, assuming this is a normal story instead of that bullshit I was saying earlier. Yeah, you definitely
Yeah,
make
and
that
I have
jump.
that's with +5 athletics and advantage. So like her strength is really high. So she sees the rope and just vaults up.
You see the rope, you vault up, and when you get through the door, you see Locke squatted, hands on the rope, very clearly ready to stretch it down on whoever was going to try to climb up.
I see
Good job circumnavigating that.
There we go. I look down, I see a second ghost boy, and processing enough, I think, just go, which way did they go?
He points in the direction that they went.
Stomps
No
off.
argument there.
It's just, I'm terrified. The second out of 3 ghost children, gotta go for the hat trick. Yeah, I'm following.
Great. Nikhil's on the roof, Catherine's on the chase, and our quartet have made it to the attic, led by a Molly who is unraveling by the moment.
Poor Molly. Maybe not. She could be evil.
Anything to say, do, or think on this very tense walk over?
But you said they're in the attic, so they circumvented the 5th floor somehow.
They're getting. When I say the attic, I mean like. I'm sorry, this is like a very specific thing that was in my head. In the boys' bedroom, there'll be like an attic setup that leads to stairs that go to the 3rd floor. Like you pull down one of those things on the roof and a stairway is going to come down and that'll bring you to the 3rd floor. I should have clarified what I meant by attic. Because that was
then I
very
jumped way ahead, guys. My bad. I thought you were right underneath me.
Yeah, I hope you know and realize you are outside the building on the
No,
roof.
I do. I
Okay.
noticed this. I'm not
Great.
dead though, so we're still fine.
That is
I
correct.
thought they were. I was just gonna like wave down a window. I didn't realize they were on the 2nd floor still.
I didn't know why you wanted to go to the roof.
They're headed.
It
to the
did
roof.
have that feeling, Mike. I could recognize the DM. Okay, your funeral in your voice when you said that.
Yep.
They're headed to the. I'm.
They're heading to the roof eventually.
Yeah, we'll connect with you in a couple sessions.
Problems on the way? That's ridiculous, Mike. They're in a couple of.
We have a whole floor of acid to deal with.
Yeah. We could send the acid to the roof.
There you go.
You get to the little pull down on the ceiling that will lead you to the 3rd floor. And finally cutting the silence, Eleanor just blurts out, "What is it like? Up there? I mean, you've clearly been up there before. Not in a long time."
How long ago?
"100 years?
How come you never went back?
You gotta ask these fucking questions now. We're steps away."
That's fair. Do you need help?
I think so.
Okay. I'll do what I can.
Thank you.
Yeah. What can you do? What can you tell us that'll help us? If there's rules that stop you, that's okay. You can just say that.
No, it's not rules. Just... let's just go upstairs.
Okay. We'll get you through this.
Molly leads you up the stairs, bringing you to a room unlike what you've seen before. Unlike the hallways of the catacombs in the 2nd floor, or the welcoming, homely space of the foyer, this is something akin to a control room with a bunch of floating squares, cubes that at a glance kind of correlate to rooms you visited before. You see a very pointedly cornered off-angle one that is likely the marriage altar void. And these are kind of going around in an orbit around a figure in the center of the room. The same greenish tint as the other ghosts you've met so far. She stands in a simple white dress and turns to face you all. An unreadable look on her face locked on Molly.
Hello, my dear foolish sister. Molly,
Oh,
hardly able to meet her gaze, replies, Hello, Eleanor. And that is where we will end today's episode of Murder Under Moonlight's Shade.
oh, I knew Eleanor
I was
sketchy.
wondering. There
I
was
knew it wasn't-
just enough mentioning of like splitting people into different parts. I was like, is this because that explains maybe why she borrows stuff is because she's missing pieces.
Mhm.
I like it. I like it, Mike.
Thank you.
This has got cool lore.
It is a cool
I-
Great to
story.
learn it. Finally.
I appreciate that.
And
And if
next
you want to
episode's
hear
Patron.
more about cool lore and also the exact mechanics of holy water, I guess, you can subscribe to patreon.com/the D&Dorks for some quality, I believe it's at this point $10 content.
Ooh.
The backstage after
We'll
show.
try that.
Is it $5 content or I don't know?
I'm gonna be
There
so
is
real.
a
I haven't had time to do
catchphrase.
anything D&Dorks in January. We'll figure it out. It's
I
reasonably
was
priced
trying to do
content.
a
We're gonna call it
catchphrase.
that.
It was reasonably priced. I was trying to do a callback, but I should know what the thing specifically is.
The bit was
do it
$5
responsibly,
content,
though.
but that might have changed.
The bit.
We have a Patreon. You should go look. We can just call it there.
Inflation, etc., etc. You can subscribe
Yes.
there, and you can, even if you don't, you can see us next time on what it will surely be the final episode of Murder Under Moonlight's Shade. But until then, goodbye.
Bye.
I'm on a roof.